Hello everybody and welcome back to the live stream for the finals day of the ICF Freestyle World Cup. This is the first event taking place at the Ambush Wave. We have seen all kinds of kayaking today. In about 2 minutes time, we're going to start the junior women's finals. I'm joined here by Jake. Jake, what do you think so far? How's this been going?
Yeah, it's a great event so far, isn't it? It's brilliant. Weather's perfect. Some big rides in the men's C1 so far, and the men's semi-finals this morning. It's been a really good event. We know these junior women can throw down pretty hard, so I think we're going to have a tight final. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, I think you're right. Coming up next, this is the junior women's finals. They get 3 rides, 45 seconds each, and the best ride counts. In freestyle kayaking, if you have not tuned in yet or seen any of these things in person, the way this works, every trick is worth a certain number of points based on how challenging it is to do and how much fun it is. The judges are professionals, they've done training, and they know exactly how each of these moves is defined. And these athletes trying to do as many different tricks as they can in 45 seconds. If they fall out of the wave, they can paddle back up in there and try to get some more, but they can't score points while they are not in the wave. Tricks you are likely to see here in this round, you're going to see spins. Boat stays flat, goes around 360 degrees. That's worth about 10 points. That's going to go all the way up to things like a front flip, which we call a loop. With air is worth close to 100 points. There are harder tricks to do as well. And in this round, we're going to see first up Eleanor Knight from the United States, Chloe Spears, also USA. We've got Neve from Great Britain, Canadian, Sophie. And our leader after the preliminary round is Mckinley Hargrove, local paddler, coming to you live right there. That is Eleanor Knight, waiting for the thumbs up from the judges. They get 3 rides, 1 count. Tell me, what are you expecting to see out of these ladies?
They're all very conditioned. A lot of them are now very used to competition, so hopefully they can all keep on top of their nerves. I think we're going to see some loops. I think there's a few that are going to try and throw those McNasties, which is a 180-degree spin into a front flip. So let's see how things go. So first we've got Eleanor Knight, run 1. She's got 45 seconds to show us what she can do in this final. She's dropped onto the wave. Nice front surf. She's going to set up on the corner. So that's a spin. That's worth around 10 points. We'll have to see what judges say, of course. Looking for a roundhouse to the left. Just spinning. A lot of these paddlers will spin around to set up to get into the perfect place to throw their moves. There we go. Eleanor looking to get some bounce there. She's still got plenty of time left on the clock. And sticking to the wave, which is always a good sign. Looking for a roundhouse to the left there, maybe. Another spin. Just slightly coming off the back of the pile there. She's going to probably have to leave it there, and the timer is out. So you can see on the bottom left of your screen that there is a red number. That is the points scored in that round. That number will adjust as the judges take a look at it.
All right, not a bad ride for Eleanor Knight. Her first ride, they get 3 tries, and it feels great to get some points on that first ride because you kind of work out the nerves. You try something a little more conservative maybe that you know you can stick. And then in those second 2 rides, you can try to go bigger. Eleanor doing a very good job of staying in the wave for the entirety of her 45 seconds. And her score has come in at 31.67. So that is now the score to beat. However, this is reverse seeding order based on the competition yesterday. And so Eleanor qualified in the 5th place spot. And the last paddler to go today, Mckinley Hargrove, qualified in the 1st place spot. And so the advantage is all of these ladies know what they need to do in order to make their way onto the podium. This is local paddler Chloe Spears. Learned how to paddle in Texas, now lives here full-time in Columbus, Georgia. This is her first competition, and she is stoked.
Okay, she's dropped into the wave, nice and easy. Again, she's looking to set up on that corner. She's just flushed off. Up, Chloe. She wants to get into that eddy on that surfer's right side. That's the fastest eddy. And the eddy is the way to boost your way back up into the feature. She's dropping in again. Looking for a little back roundhouse there, maybe a back blunt. We need to get that boat over 45 degrees if we want to score something as a blunt. Otherwise, it will be scored as a roundhouse. So she's setting up again in a back surf. Looking for that air loop. She's just flushed off the back. A few seconds left. I think she's going to leave it there. So these paddlers will get 3 rides, and one of those rides they will throw away. So she might want to do that with that ride there.
Yeah, actually they get to throw 2 of the rides away. They only count the best one of the 3 in this finals format. In each round there's a different number of rides. And so like in preliminaries, for example, they get 2 rides and both of those rides count. So they're looking for consistency in the athletes. But then now that it's finals, they get 3 tries to throw big. And if they get that big ride just one time, then that's all that counts. 25 points. Next up, it is Neve from Great Britain.
Okay, Neve spinning that lovely carbon fiber Gigi prod around on the wave. Neve's from the UK. That looked like it had a bit of air there on that roundhouse, maybe a blunt. Spinning nice and easily over to the left. She's well in control. She's taking her time. She knows what she can do. Setting up again. Again, looking for a blunt McNasty there. That's a linked move. She's still retained the feature. We'll have to see what the judges think. She's sat at 90 points. She's got 8 seconds left. Lovely spins there. Looking for the air loop. Maybe a Space Godzilla. Very good ride.
Wow, that'll do it. That definitely is going to be our highest scoring ride we've seen so far. As you see at the bottom left, you see that number 123.33 showing right now. That's going to bounce around for a little bit. We are seeing real time what the judges are entering into the computers as they check off each move and make sure they get it just right. And then it will turn a different color and we'll know that that score is solidified. Right now, our highest score of the day is Eleanor Knight, 31 points. This is still just ride number 1, just halfway through the heat. And here we see in slow motion, Neve going for that blunt McNasty. Had she gotten that, that would have been a massive scoring combination trick. The roundhouse worth about 15 points, McNasty 130 or so with a bunch of link bonuses. That would have been huge. Right now her score is showing at 91.67. That may tweak around a little bit as the judges make everything final, but very good chance this could be the highest score we've seen. Yep, and that was it. 91.67 puts her on top. Our next paddler from Team Canada. She is used to big waves on the Ottawa River where she trains at home. This is Sophie Gilfeline, and she is on fire. We saw her earlier today in the women's C1 class, giving a fist pump to the crowd, always smiling, always having fun. This is the Canadian junior paddler, Sophie.
Okay, Sophie dropping into the wave in another carbon fiber boat. This time it's a Jackson Rockstar. It's lovely. So she's setting up nicely on the wave, looking for that blunt there on the right. Maybe a bit of air there. If you score some air points, you get a bonus on that trick. Looking for a lovely back blunt there. And going straight again for a left roundhouse. That's lovely paddling. Really fast, quick moves. Retaining the feature. This is a great ride so far from Sophie. Spinning around again. Like I say, some of these paddlers will use that spin to set up for their next move. Another move there. Another back blunt. Lovely bit of air on that. And she's going back the other way. This is an epic ride. She's just coming off the back, but right on the buzzer. Epic ride there from Sophie.
Yeah, that was great to see. She's going to be very happy with that, especially for a first ride. I've seen her do the biggest aerial tricks possible. She did it in the Canadian team trials on that Garburator wave on the Ottawa River. Already a member of the Canadian team for next year's World Championships, which will also take place here in Columbus, Georgia. Sophie doing a great combination of smaller, safer tricks and then a couple bigger ones. That back blunt, that's worth 70 points on its own if she scores it, and so that really adds to this score. Right now we're seeing the highest scoring ride of the day at 161. In that slow-mo, you could see that blunt or roundhouse to the right, depending on the verticality, maybe even with air. And that's her score, coming in at 161 points, puts her into the lead. And there's that nice back blunt to the right. She's paddling that carbon fiber, murky water Jackson Kayak Rockstar. She is stoked. That's a great first ride for Sophie. Next up, our first place qualifier, local hero. It is going to be Mckinley Kate Hargrove. She watched as her brother over the last couple days has put down the highest scoring rides of the whole event in the senior men's class. But right now, it is all about Mckinley Kate.
Okay, Mckinley dropping in. Looking for a lovely right blunt there. Again, spinning around back into a front surf to set up for her next trick. What she got? She's going to go left as well. Why not? Why not? That's perfect. Looking for a McNasty there. That looks good. We'll have to see what the judges think. It's all about angles. Now she's looking for that air loop. She's still retaining the feature. This is a very strong opening ride from Mckinley Kate Hargrove. Oh, she's going to try and go the other way. She's still there. She's still got 10 seconds left. That's the buzzer. She's going to go for another McNasty there, but the other way. Remember, you can only score a move one way once. You cannot keep repeating moves, and she's not doing that on this ride at all. That's epic.
Oh my gosh. Mckinley Kate, she's saying, why go small for my first ride when I can just go ahead and go big? I can do the hardest tricks that I know how to do. Wow, she just threw it down. McNasty's, aerial loops. This was a big ride. Mckinley Kate at the World Championships in Nottingham, England earlier this year, putting down the highest scoring ride ever at an ICF event for a junior woman, and now she has just taken the lead. 313.33 points. And look at this in slow motion. McNasty brings it over the top, stays on the spot. She really knows this wave, and she has a lot of high-scoring tricks. So the way this works is now because all of these ladies have done their first ride, all of these ladies are going to get a second ride, and then they're going to get a third, and only the best ride of their 3 tries is going to be scored. So there's our leaderboard at the moment. Scored a beat, 313 point from Mckinley Kate Hargrove. And next up is going to be Eleanor Knight, coming to us from the United States of America. She is a good paddler. She also went to Nottingham to compete at the World Championships, and she is stoked right now to get ready to paddle into this ambush wave.
All right, Eleanor Knight coming in. Fun fact for you, she is the youngest female paddler ever to paddle all of the Grand Canyon Rapids. That's pretty cool. Okay, here we go. She's dropped in, nice and stable. She's taking some time to set up. A lovely little spin on the corner there. A lot of paddlers using that right shoulder of the wave to spin around to set up for their next move. But in the process, they get 10 points for that. Maybe looking for a bit of a back roundhouse there. She's staying nice and focused. She's staying on the wave. Looking for a spin the other way. Just coming off the back. She's going to have to paddle hard to get back into that feature in time. I think she's going to leave it there. She's going to conserve her energy.
Yeah, that's not any more most likely than her first ride. So her first ride score is what's going to count. She'll likely stay in that 4th place spot. She was 15th place at the Nottingham World Championships earlier in the year, sponsored by Werner and Astral. She's a great paddler coming to us from Washington State. And she is always having a good time, always smiling, always having fun. Our next paddler coming to us, local paddler from Columbus, Georgia. This is going to be Chloe Spears. And she's a member of the Team Jackson Little Shredders crew. She's very new to kayaking, and she's stoked to just start feeling comfortable on Good Wave, where our second event's going to take place. She likes this ambush wave. She's paddled here a lot. She's also trained at OKC in Oklahoma City, which is an artificial course. And for her, a great day is just showing up at the island down at Good Wave, having fun with her friends and family. And she is stoked. She's paddling her way up. She's going to enter the wave from that river left eddy.
Okay, that's the first paddler we've seen come from the eddy. Sometimes it's a little bit less risky to hit the wave straight from that side rather than dropping in. So she's nice and comfortable in the hole, setting up with a lovely right spin on that right shoulder. Remember, to score a move, it does have to be in one fluid motion, so that spin has to go all the way around to make sure they score it. She's looking for a right roundhouse there. With this being quite a small wave, it's quite hard to generate that pop. Looking for the air loop there, just off the back. She's going for that eddy, she's paddling hard. She's got 10 seconds left. She's still going to go for it. She's not stopping. Keep going, Chloe. She's showing great determination. That's what this sport is all about. Great work, Chloe. She's probably going to leave that one there.
Yeah, I think you're right. She'll most likely stick with that first ride score, which will be higher. Going for that loop, that worked for her in prelims. If she gets that, that'll likely add up to 90 points to her score for a loop plus air, which would have gotten her up onto the podium very comfortably. It's a risky move, though. You got to get the bow underwater in control and hold the boat in a straight line as it flips over the top. Right now, her score is showing in at around 18 points. She is currently in 5th place. She gets one more try to move up onto the leaderboard. Next up, it is going to be Neve from Team Great Britain, sponsored by Flow Kayak. She was second as a junior woman at the World Championships in England. And she is also the British national champion, loves paddling with friends, started kayaking with her dad. Favorite place to paddle so far is HPP, where we saw the World Championships most recently. Likes to eat fajitas, paddles with Nathan Hefford and Lowry Davis. Here she goes.
Okay, Neve back on the wave. I paddle with Neve quite a lot at Nottingham. There's not many people more motivated for paddling than Neve is, and she's shown it here. Lovely spin to the left. Starting to rack up those points. Looking for an aerial blunt there to the right. Beautiful. These carbon boats are really stiff, so they bounce a little bit easier off this green water than the plastic boats do. She's currently with 95 points. She's going to go right again, maybe looking for the roundhouse. And again, looking for the blunt McNasty, just coming off the back. If she got that blunt McNasty, that is worth a lot of points, so it is worth taking the risk in these finals. You have to pull out everything to get on that podium.
Yeah, that's true, and a really nice ride. It's so fun watching Neve paddle because she pops the boat up into the air pretty consistently on a lot of those tricks, and that gets her bonuses, and it just makes it more fun to watch. She's a very, very good competitor and did very well at the World Championships early. Technique looks really good. You can see her doing everything you need to do to move that boat around and consistently do well. Almost always looking upstream, driving the edges. This ride is a better ride than her last one. She ups the score to 118.33 points, and I believe that's going to have her maybe in 3rd place at the moment. We'll get that leaderboard to come up. Next up, it is Sophie coming from Canada. This is going to be her first World Championships, and she's coming out of slalom.
Okay, that's an interesting transition, slalom into freestyle, sorry, but every discipline always helps another. So that's showing with some boat control here. She knows exactly what she's looking for. A lovely blunt to the right, straight into a back blunt. She's just coming off the back of the pile. She's charging hard for that eddy. That is the fastest eddy to make your way back up into this feature. This is not the easiest feature out there. It's quite flushy, so to throw these hard moves is seriously good work from these junior ladies. So she's looking for an air loop there. It's hard to get the bow down. The wave is very flat. She's going to move on and look for maybe a back roundhouse there. Spinning around. Looking for a McNasty there. Again, just coming off the back. But that is one of those really high-scoring moves that will catapult her straight up the score sheet.
Yeah, it's true. Sophie currently in 2nd place. That ride will not be better than her first ride, so she's likely going to stay in 2nd place with that 161. She is traveling right now with the World Class Kayak Academy. It's a traveling high school where they do kayaking almost every day and travel all over the world. She and 5 or 6 of her fellow students are here to compete at this World Cup. They are stoked, and Sophie is always joking around, always having fun. She lists her best achievement as, quote, rescuing hundreds of worms from the road when it rains.
You wouldn't catch me doing that.
Yeah, unbelievable. Next up, local hero, and I believe she was third in Nottingham. This is Mckinley Kate Hargrove.
Okay, Mckinley catching the wave nicely there, going straight for a right blunt with maybe a little bit of air. We always have to see what the judges think of it, though. They're the ones in charge. So she's going to the left as well, just catching an edge, but she's retaining the feature. Looking for that McNasty. That's very close. These McNasties need to score within 20 degrees of upstream, so it's all about angles here. Plugging for the loop, just flushing off the back. She's already got a decent score, but it's not going to be enough, we don't think yet, to improve on her first round. She's still going back up the eddy. She's charging hard. She's got a couple of seconds left. She's going to give it a fist pump and leave it there.
Yeah, not the ride she wanted, but she is comfortably in first place right now with that first ride score. She is a very, very good freestyle paddler. She's sponsored by Jackson Kayak, NRS, Whitewater Express, Positivity Phoenix City, member of Hargrove Adventures. Everyone in her family kayaks. Her coach is her big brother, Mason, who is a former junior world champion. She has been the cadet national champion in America. She was third at the Nottingham Worlds with the highest score ever done for a junior woman. And that ride was not what she wanted, 101 points, but she stays in first place with 313. So we have now seen 2 rides out of these ladies. They get 1 more. And only the best of these 3 rides are going to count for them. And so right now it is still wide open. Any one of these ladies could end up on top. And right now it is Eleanor Knight coming to us from Washington State of the United States of America. And she would like to get more points than she has so far.
Okay, yeah, Eleanor knows she's got to really pull it out now for this last ride if she wants a chance of getting on that podium. She's looking focused. She's going to drop in nicely from above. Okay, she's hit the wave. She's surfing around. She's going to see what she wants to do. Again, looking for that spin on the shoulder, like a lot of these young ladies have gone for. It's a good way to set up. And to get some points straight on the board as well. Okay, she's spinning around again. Just having a bit of a side surf, working out what she wants to do. Looking for that left roundhouse. Spinning around again. Looking for an air loop. She knows she needs that sort of move to get on the podium here. Great effort there. She's still retaining the feature. Is she going to go for it again? She is. Oh, that's close. That's close. It's a really difficult move for this feature. She's going to leave that there. The buzzer going, and that's not going to better her first ride, unfortunately, for Eleanor.
Yeah, Eleanor currently in 4th place. That ride is not going to advance her cause. She needed to pass 118.33 from Neve if she wanted to make it onto the podium. She didn't, so we know that she will not be in the top 3. However, Chloe will still have an opportunity. She's still in 5th, so Chloe could knock her down into that 5th place spot if Chloe gets a big ride. And I believe Chloe is our next paddler to go. This is going to be Chloe Spears from Columbus, Georgia. She's not been paddling for long, but she is always smiling, and she is excited to be taking part in her first competition right here in her home city of Columbus, Georgia.
Okay, so Chloe again is going to enter from that river left eddy. She knows she's got to improve on that first round score to move up the table. Let's see what she's got for us now. Okay, she is dropping into the wave. She's getting some big cheers from the crowd on the side. Setting up nicely again with that spin to the right. Straight for the air loop. There it is. We'll have to see what the judges think of that one, but that looked pretty good to me. She's having a bit of a roll in the hole, but she's retaining the feature. Excellent boat control there from Chloe. What's she got next? She's looking for a back roundhouse. Again, staying on the feature, looking to go for a right roundhouse. She's looking for this. She's really working for these points. She knows she needs A bit of a wipeout on the wave there, but she's got 10 seconds left. She needs just a few more points to get on that podium. Even just a spin the other way would do it. Up, 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 Chloe. She's happy with that. A little fist pump and a bit of a face surf out of the wave.
Yeah, falling over right at the end. She'll be happy with that ride. She gets the big loop. I know she really wanted to do that during this finals. It's looking like it might not quite be enough to get her into that third place spot, but a much better ride than she's done so far in finals, and she will be happy. That was a big, beautiful aerial loop that she got. You can see it right here. That front flip straight over the top. Absolutely no question whether she got it. That trick alone worth something like 90 points most likely. Loop put air plus air, and her score has gone up right now, showing at 120 points. It could still bounce up or down. It is not set yet. If it stays there, she is currently in third place. That would take that third place spot from Neve. However, Neve gets to go again, right now and get her third ride, so she could take it back. But Chloe definitely overtaking, and she did it. 120 points to Chloe. And so that is now the score to beat if Neve wants to make her way back onto the podium. Our next paddler just got bumped into fourth, but she is not happy with that. She is going to try to go for broke and maybe even try to take that top spot.
Yeah, Neve is a tough cookie. She's going to come out all guns blazing in this one. Now, she knows she's got to improve on her last few rides. It's very close for number 2, 3, and 4. She's setting up with a nice spin to the right. She's getting some points on the board. Again, looking to set up. Let's see what she's got. Using that right shoulder, looking for a big loop there. She's gone for a Space Godzilla, almost a space loop. She's got to paddle back up hard. Come on, Neve. She's gonna stop there. That's a shame. I think she was going for all or nothing on that ride there, and she's just going to take a break. There's still a second competition to come this week, so we will not be seeing the last of Neve here.
Yeah, that's true. This is just the initial event. We have two competitions. For most of the athletes, they think of this one as a little less important because Good Wave for the second event is going to be where the World Championships will be held next year, and it is a big, exciting, fun spot. This really a smaller, more technical, easy to control, less intimidating feature. It's still a lot of fun, but it definitely doesn't quite have the draw of Good Wave that we're going to be seeing later in this week. Neve, that time around, flushes pretty early in the ride, and I was a little surprised that she didn't try to paddle back up into the wave and see if she get a few more points. But I think that'll do it. She's going to technically and officially be in that fourth place spot, and that is not bad for someone who is coming here. Fourth in the world as a junior woman. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Next up, I believe our second place current standing qualifier and in second place right now. This is Sophie Gilfeline coming to us from the Ottawa Valley. Yep, she is in second place at the moment.
Okay, 161 points to improve on. To get into that top spot, she needs 313. She started out strong with some great rotations there. Looking for another blunt there by the look of it. She's already gone backwards. Let's see, she's sat with 85 points. Okay, nice roundhouse to the left. Back again, the other way. Oh, she's just flushed off the back. She's going to go for it. There's no way she's not going to stop on this one. Go, go, go. She's coming up the eddy. Pulling back in on the shoulder. Looking for that air loop. She's just off the back of it again. And that is probably going to be it for Sophie, leaving Mckinley Kate with a victory ride here.
Yeah, Sophie fairly consistently getting 100 points or more. She definitely had the potential to overtake Mckinley Kate, but just not quite getting it to happen in that ride. So our next rider, Mckinley Kate Hargrove, she's currently in first, and she gets a victory lap. There, she knows she has won this event. That always feels good. There's no longer any pressure. She's put down that big 300-point ride, and so next up, she's going to get to go ahead and just go for broke, see if she can get more scores, only competing with herself. Sophie guaranteed that second place spot. She should feel pretty good about that. And in third place for this event is going to be Chloe Spears. And Chloe will be stoked. But here it is, McKinley Hargrove, McKinley Kate for her victory lap.
Okay, lovely blunt roundhouse to the left. There, let's see what else she's going to do. She's going to go again. Oh, maybe she's looking for that blunt McNasty. She's still in the feature. Not quite pulling that loop part of the move around. She's going to try some cool stuff for us here. Moving around the feature with ease. This is a very skillful paddler here. There it is, the blunt McNasty. She stuck it. Looking for a lunar orbit there as well. Another roundhouse to the left. This is a big ride. Oh my God, there. She's going for it the other way round. She's pulled out all the stops there. She knew she won. Great way to finish off a tournament for the start of this week for McKinley Kate.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Fun to see her trying just the hardest trick she could do at the end. She is all smiles. She is so stoked. Not only does she win the first World Cup event, this is her first time winning an international competition, but it is at her home spot. And so it is really special to get to take the win in front of all of your friends and family here to cheer her on. Everyone running down to congratulate her. This has been a great day for the junior women's class. The future of our sport is definitely strong. Next up in, let's see, it is now about 3:30. At 3:40 in 10 minutes time, we are going to watch the junior men's finals. So we're going to have a quick break in the action, and then in 10 minutes time, it's going to be junior men's finals. That is going to be paddlers from all over the world. We've got 2 from the United States, 1 from New Zealand, 1 from Finland, and 1 from Japan. So don't go anywhere. In 10 minutes at 3:40, we're going to start the junior men's finals.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We just watched the junior women's final where we saw an incredible set of rides from all 5 paddlers. Next up here, we're going to be moving into the men's kayak junior finals. So here we will be seeing Mateo I'm going to butcher this name, I apologize. Kowalczyk, Ian Cieslak from the US, Mateo Williams from New Zealand, Oni Eronen from Finland, and Nanase Okazaki of Japan.
So yeah, Zachary, we are about to start in a couple minutes. I think the first paddler, Mateo, is waiting for the green flag from Chef Paul. I think it's Paul.
I think so.
Or Danny. Maybe Danny.
Yeah, and this is, according to his bio, this is actually Mateo's first ever Worlds, so it's pretty cool to make it to finals in the first event.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's always, as a junior, it's always not a hard time, but it's always, you never know if the juniors are going to do well in competition because it's their first experience out there. And looks like he's enjoying it as he's in final. Here he goes for his first ride, I think.
Yeah, I can see him dropping in here.
He's got a blue boat, Rockstar 5. Alright, here he drops into the wave, goes for a blunt to the left. Here he sets up for unfortunately he flushes, trying to set up, and he goes hard up the eddy. He's paddling hard, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd is cheering on him.
Yeah, he's just coming back into the wave after that paddle back up. He's got 50 points on the board at the moment. He's going to be looking to put a few more down in his last 20 seconds. He's almost out, but he manages to paddle his way back in. He's going to go right into a right blunt. That's going to add some points on that board for him, sitting up to 110 at the moment. Going for the back roundhouse, unfortunately, bouncing back off that stern and flushing off the end of his first of 3 rides.
Yeah, looks like he's happy still. With it's a good little warm-up, but he's definitely going to want to do more points to get on that podium.
Yeah, the thing is, when you have 3 rides and only 1 counts, you do get to throw away one, at the worst, 2 rides if necessary.
We're looking at slow-mo. Here he goes for a nice lefty blunt. That was pretty good. He definitely has a Canadian style out there.
Very much so, yes. So it seems the score locked in at the 130, so he will put that on the board for his first ride. All right. Next up here, we'll have
Ian
Cieslak. I am very, very sorry about the last name pronunciations here.
Okay.
He's in the feature. He's throwing down, putting a nice blunt on the board to start it off. Blunt the other direction, unfortunately popping out on the stern.
Yeah, it looks like he was a little bit too far to the surfer's right, and he catch an edge. Well, not an edge, but an end, as it is way more vertical on the right side. And so you got to be careful when you are backwards, not to plug like he did. But here he goes up the eddy, and he goes back into the wave, sets up for the back. Oh no, he unfortunately flushed as he was trying to set up. Looks like it's going to be the end for him. For his first ride at least.
Yeah, and we'll see what the score locks in at, but at the moment it's looking at around a 110 and a bit. We will see if that changes. As we watch the slow-mo replay right here of Ian, we've got up next Mateo Williams of New Zealand. He is not a newbie to this type of event. He came 5th at the Nottingham World Championships, so we're expecting to see some pretty high-scoring rides on his part, and I'm sure he's hoping to try to even best that 5th place position.
Oh yeah, Zachary, because Mateo is actually pretty familiar with this spot. He lives not too far from it. He lives in Asheville, so he knows Columbus quite a bit. Here he goes for a nice entry move. I think it's the first one that we saw in finals for now. Little roundhouse to the left. Here he goes for a nice back blunt. Definitely putting some points on the board.
Going for the backstab, back blunt to the other side. starting off strong, going for the donkey flip. Looks like he stuck that. We'll see what he's got next. Maybe this donkey flip the other direction. Oh, it looks like maybe he'd be going for, roundhouse, back roundhouse the other direction. He's now got both sides completely down. Nice left blunt on that shoulder, riding it as high as he can. We'll see if he got one more thing in the last couple seconds. Looks like he's going for a make nasty.
Ooh.
Almost pulls it around.
Pretty close, pretty close. I think he will be happy with this first ride.
Yeah, it's definitely currently will put him at the top, even if the score jumps up or down a little bit. He's definitely going to be happy with this first ride of finals. All right, next up from Finland, we'll have Oni Eranen.
You got it right.
Good, there we go. I knew I'd get one name right at some point today. Yeah, he's going to be coming up next. He was currently sitting in the second spot going into these finals. He's going to be wanting to move himself into the first place position.
Yep. It's nice to see the Finland guys crushing it out there, because usually when it's a whole bunting comp, they're good, but they're not in the top, up there. And then now that it's on a wave, they're definitely up there. Like as we see Visa in the top 5 in the senior men as well. That's super impressive. Yeah, looks like the Finland guys have lots of waves to play on during the spring, and that's why they're so good here.
Yeah, and already compared to 11th place at the World Championships in Nottingham this year or this summer, already making it into the top 5 of this world event. It is definitely an improvement. Mateo Williams' score locking in at 261.67, putting him squarely at the top of the leaderboard for the moment.
Oni is ready to go. He's happy, stoked to be in finals.
I think one of the few Apex paddlers we have around here, one of the new watercraft companies out there.
Yeah. From Dane Jackson, the one and only.
All right, he's dropping into the feature, looking to set himself up right off the bat with a nice right blunt, going right into the left back blunt. Spinning around on the shoulder, looking to set himself up for another. There goes the left, turns into a roundhouse with a little less angle than the blunt.
We are noticing that Oni has a very short paddle, and we don't see too many people these days with such a small paddle.
Oh, he just manages to retain it. Oh, he's looking for the McNasty.
Oh!
Oh, and he almost pulls it around. Unfortunately, not keeping it in the feature. That was still an impressive showing from Oni Eranen of Finland. And yeah, as you mentioned, he grips his paddle like almost right up against the blade there.
Yep. I think it really helps on wakeboarding when you want to throw some donkey flips or air screws. You can rotate so much faster. I don't know if you tried, Zachary, but to do air screws, hand paddling, it's so much easier, I feel like.
You get the paddle out of the way, nothing touches the water.
Exactly.
All right, seems like it jumped up a little bit to 220 here. Definitely a solid first ride from our Finnish paddler.
That puts him on the podium for now.
We still have many, many rides to go in this finals. This is just the beginning.
And the last one is Nanase from Japan. He's been way up there in the junior men's. We're definitely looking at some big, high score rides.
Yeah, I believe his scores yesterday in semifinals were coming close to most of the senior men in single rides, and he was flushing off the feature and still getting those points. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do for us here in the finals.
We can hear the Japan crowd on the side of the river cheering for Nanase as he's dropping into the feature right now. Here he goes for a nice entry move. Ooh, barely flushing, but he goes right into a back blunt. Setting up for a nice clean blunt into McNasty. That was pretty sick. Here he goes for the other side, maybe. Ooh, nice clean blunt to the right. trying to set up for a back blunt the other way, but didn't really work. Here he goes for that one again, and that one, it goes pretty good. He's already at 500 points. That's a pretty good ride. He still has 15 seconds to go. Here he goes for nice air screw. 5 seconds left, and one more trick, Nanase. Yep. Another blunt. Ooh. Oh yeah.
My. I think he pulled that off right before the buzzer. We'll have to wait and
hopefully.
see. That was a huge ride, nevertheless, from Nanase. He's going to be stoked with that. That's going to put him squarely in first place, looking really, really good.
Yeah, I gotta say, he should definitely be in top 2 now with this score.
And look at that huge entry wing over. Going right into the backstab. This guy knows exactly how to do each trick to the book to sell it to the judges exactly the way they want to see it. And look at that beautiful, clean blunt McNasty. I don't even think he uses paddle till he clean blunt and the clean McNasty.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any in the senior men of this, eh?
Not that good.
We've seen many blunts to McNasty, but I don't think we've seen clean blunts into McNasty. Those are pretty hard, especially here.
Yes, this is a very small feature and really requires, like, a lot of times you want to use that paddle to help yourself get a little bit more air, but he doesn't seem to need it. All right, the judges are still deliberating his score here, but it's going to be really high.
Is it going to be over 800 or below 800? We're currently at 798.33.
And he looks so calm and collected out there on the wave. And yeah, it locks in at 798.33. Huge, huge first ride for Nanase. This is going to set an intense benchmark for the other 4 paddlers here in the finals. But now we're back to the top of the heat.
Here we go for Mateo. Mateo can definitely do better than his first ride for sure. So he's trying to reconcentrate as he drops into the hole. Here he goes.
Looking to set something up there. Unfortunately, not getting the pass. There it is. He was looking for that left blunt. Gets it on the second try. Still looking around the feature, trying to find the exact moment to throw the next trick. A nice right blunt.
Ooh.
Cartwheeling it back around to stay back in the feature. Nice and quick. There was almost enough separation there that they might have added that as for a backstab of sorts. All right, he's still searching for that spot, for that moment to throw the next trick. There it is, backstab the other direction. Let's see what else he's got in his last few seconds. He's gonna go for the switch backstab. Switch backstab is if you spin to one direction, then switch direction halfway and backstab the other way. That was a nice run.
Donkey flip on the buzzer.
Yeah, definitely a great showing for his second ride. That'll bump him up a good ways up the leaderboard.
Yep. I think he's going to be happy with this. It's definitely much better than the first one. He's already at twice his first ride score. He should be second with 280 points. I think he would be happy with second place, but we still have some more rides to go.
Yeah, and we know that all these paddlers out here are capable of throwing absolutely massive.
Yeah, that's true. Nanasi is pretty far ahead though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Well, not.
Yep.
I'm sure some of them are capable. I'm not sure if we'll see here, but it'll be exciting to see what happens in the next few rides.
The judges are still delivering his ride, and we have a 285-point ride for Mateo.
That puts him solidly into second place for the moment. But we'll see. Ian is up next.
Ian is ready to throw down.
Yeah, he's our second American paddler in these finals, and he is looking to show his home crowd what he can do here in Columbus, Georgia. Starting off with a nice blunt to the right. Looking to set something up, using that shoulder to get back on top of the feature. Not quite getting the pass. He tried to go for it, not getting exactly the air he got. Probably intended to get but then he still saved it by going into a beautiful back blunt. The first one would have most likely scored as a roundhouse due to the lack of angle on the stern.
Ooh, here he goes for a loop. We haven't seen, well, he was setting up for a loop. We haven't seen any loops since the beginning of the junior finals yet, but
I think he might have cartwheeled out of it anyway. Looks like they bumped the points as he did it. Oh, unfortunately, flushing on that McNasty. This is seeming to be one of the more challenging tricks on this feature, especially for the junior categories. We've seen a couple attempts in the junior women's and a few attempts in the junior men's. I believe Nanase being the only one to pull it off so far.
Looks like Ian is gonna want to do some more points. I'm sure he's capable of doing way more than that.
Oh, 100%. But next up, we have the second Mateo, the one from New Zealand. He's going to be looking to bump himself as high up into that leaderboard. He's not going to be satisfied with sitting in third. He's going to want to put himself squarely behind or in front of Nanase if possible, and we're going to see if he can do it on this next ride.
Mateo is ready to go hard. He's waiting for the green flag, and here he has it. He's splashing himself with water, getting him ready. We have his dad, his father, cheering him on. And Mateo always stoked, always smiling. And here he goes for an entry move almost into a back blunt. But here he goes for a nice blunt to the left. Nice back blunt to the left. Same thing the other way.
Just retaining the feature there. Looked like what was potentially a scary flush turned into a nice setup for a back roundhouse here. Setting up, looking for that donkey flip, sticking it very nicely. He's all smiles. He's always one of the smiliest people on the river. He never had anything but smiles in Nottingham, and it's just been the same so far here. Going for the loop.
Unfortunate flush on the loop. It's very hard to stick loops here because the water is so powerful and so flat. It's not very steep, so when you plug, it's really hard to not move back. And so we've seen a lot of loop type attempt that just flushes.
Yeah, it's definitely turned into one of the more difficult tricks on this feature. I think we've honestly seen more McNasties than loops.
Yeah, for sure. It's really interesting to see, some hole and wave tricks on one feature. Usually it's either hole tricks or wave tricks, but this hole is a little bit foamy and glassy at the same time, so you can do both tricks. And here we have a score for Mateo of 330 points on the board, so that moves him back up to the second place. I think it was back third after Mateo from the United States, but he's back in second.
And there's Oni blowing kisses to the crowd. He's always in a good mood. Let's see what he's got on this feature.
Here he drops into the wave, goes for blunt, and sets him back in the front to do another blunt the other way. He is rocking his apex boat. Here he goes for a nice back blunt. Ooh, loops attempt, and he unfortunately flushes on it. He's pretty far down the AD. That's going to be hard to get back up there. He still has 15 seconds left.
He should have time to throw down at least one more big trick. Maybe we'll see him go for one of his McNasty attempts, which we've seen him try pretty much consistently all week.
He has... Ooh.
That was a very good effort, looking to see if he could initiate that edge for that blunt just before the buzzer. It does not look like it counted, but it was an incredibly, incredibly good attempt on his part there. All right, he's definitely going to be sticking with his first ride score here, but that's all right. He's got one more to go after this. And there's only one other paddler left in this heat. until we go back to the top. And that is none other than Nanase, the current leader with an incredible score of over 700 points.
Yep. Nanasi with a very specific style, very dynamic style. And he's ready to go. He's waiting for people to cheer on him. He's already stoked about his first ride. I think, yeah, he's going to give it all now. I'm sure he wants even more.
Yeah, his technique is very unique, very, very textbook. I believe in Nottingham we actually used, oh my, look at that, another clean, blunt, nasty. Like I was saying, his technique is absolutely incredible. We ended up filming him a couple times to get some references on how to do McNasties. Unfortunately, flushes on that another clean, blunt McNasty to the other side.
He's still doing tricks in the eddy. Look at him doing some entry moves in the eddy.
Mixing up some squirt moves in there.
Yeah, he's not that he's giving up, but he knows he already has a very good first ride. So
yeah, he's got a big smile coming up there.
Yeah.
He knows this ride doesn't matter. He's got one big ride already on the books, and this one, it was even just with this second ride where he flushed, he would already still be in first position with this ride. He's doing some more squirt boating up there.
He's keeping the safety team on duty.
Exactly. He's like, oh, I'm good. No, no. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Nope. Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right, you're seeing the replay again. Such a gorgeous, clean blunt McNasty. I actually don't think anyone's pulled one off that nice. He's got to have the nicest one of this entire competition.
For sure. I've seen Alan doing some really good ones. Alan Ward in the senior category from England. He's really good at this, but yeah, this one was insane.
Yeah, and when you look at his technique, his head positioning is exactly where it needs to be. His paddle is always in the perfect spot, and, well, we've seen him. He doesn't actually need the paddle most of the time. He can do all the tricks without it.
And looks like he did a 500 0 point ride. And we are looking at Mateo from the United States next.
All right, and this is their last runs of this heat. This is where things can get interesting. This is where the entire lineup can be shaken up, the entire podium completely modified. It'll all depend on what these paddlers can do in their last ride. So here we go with Mateo of the United States. All right, as he's dropping into the feature, looking to start right away with a right roundhouse, get some points there on the board. Looking to maybe set up for the other side, probably looking for the blunt. There it is, blunt to the right. Unfortunately, flushes, trying to spin himself back around forward. That's going to cost him massively, but he's still got tons of time when he gets back to the top. He's still got 24 seconds. He's about to get back in there and show us what he can do in his last ride. Going for the blunt the other direction. Looking to spin to switch, potentially looking to try into a back Pan Am, but he's going to call it. He knows he can't make it back up. He's going to stick with his second ride of 285 going forward.
He is currently in third place position, so he is at least no.
Not. He's there's two other paddlers that could knock him out. He's going to have to watch that from the other shore, as we have Ian and then and Oni, who will have the chance to surpass his score.
Ian next from the United States of America. He is about to drop in. He's very concentrated. Look at him trying to set up for first loop, first move, first loop. Unfortunately, he flushes, and that's gonna be a long way back up, but he still had 30 seconds to go, so he has plenty of time to do at least 285 points to get on the podium. Here he sets up for the back blunt. That was pretty nice done. And he goes another blunt to the left. And here he sets up for McNasty. Oh, that was good. Oh, yes. That was awesome. Into a right blunt. Oh, he's definitely getting on the podium with this. He's already at 300 points, and he's happy with this for sure. It was a hard first 10 seconds as he flushed, but he's definitely stoked on that McNasty. That was an awesome end of a ride for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely stoked with that. He looks stoked. He's fist pumping he's super happy there. This looks like he will have knocked out his fellow American teammate off the podium, even potentially putting himself into that second place position going into the last couple rides. It's an absolutely incredible turnaround on his part with this last and final ride.
Yeah.
And coming back from that after an initial flush, there's good concentration. He did not lose focus. He went back in. He knew what he had to do, and he went and executed it perfectly.
That's a good inspiration to get from is never give up, because even though you flushed on the first trick and he still had like 20 seconds left and he still pulled it down. And he's at 331 points, so it's one more points. Oh my god.
1 point above Mateo of New Zealand, bumping Mateo down to third place.
But Mateo still has one more ride to go, and I know he knows, everyone knows that he can do better than that, and we're really looking forward to see what Mateo can do. He's happy, he's stoked. And here he goes.
Yeah, he's looking focused. He knows what he needs to accomplish. He sees his goal. Starts it off with the entry wing over. Very nice. Looking to set something else up. Getting a little delay on there. Managing to pull off a blunt on the right shoulder. Gets a back roundhouse to the left. Going for the roundhouse to the left. All right, he's still looking to set something up here. Going for the donkey flip. Managing to retain it. Just on that bubble. He is catching real quick up to Ian's score here. He's looking to best it. Going for the backstab the other direction. This is going to be tight. He just passed it with 335. Does he have one more trick to stick it? With the flush, this is going to be so incredibly close.
Oh, that's going to be so close. The judges has not said their last word, but he looks like he's 4 points away. Oh, maybe a little bit more.
38, 45.
Yeah, Teo is stoked, but he knows he can do much better than that, so he's... But, yeah, I don't think he knows his score right now.
Definitely not. You don't get to see a score from the other side unless your coach is watching with the live stream.
Yeah.
So this is like, he's just waiting for the announcers to call out that score. We're still waiting for it to lock in, but at 345, that actually might bump Ian out of the second place position and onto the bubble. There it is, locked in at 345, shaking up the top three.
Oh, that's a tight final. But we still have one more to go. From Finland, it is Ani Eronen.
But at this point, we have 2 guaranteed medals. We just don't know what color those are going to be. Mateo and Nanase are guaranteed to have some color on their chest later today. All right, and here we go with our Finnish paddler, Oni. He is focused. He has a goal. He is going to attempt to pull it off, and we know he can. We've seen him paddle incredibly well earlier this week. Let's see what he's got for us today.
Okay, here he sets up. Looks like he's having a hard time to get the pass, but here he goes for a righty blunt the other way. Okay, nice back blunt. Looks like now he's in his routine. Here he goes for a huge loop. Clean bonuses. Maybe, yeah, air and huge bonuses as well. That's going to be, here he goes for a nice air screw. And that's going to be putting some points on the board, and this is gonna be super close. You still have 5 seconds to go, and here he goes for the McNasty.
He sticks it. He's going for the other direction, and he sticks it. I'll see if they count that because that's slightly off the side. He is so stoked.
He's gonna be looking at the second place for sure. Maybe the first place, who knows? Doesn't look like the judges is counting their McNasty, but he's definitely gonna be stoked with this ride. That was a pretty big ride.
Right at the last minute, Oni comes out and shows the world He's not satisfied with being in fourth. He's not satisfied with third. He wants second. He tried for the top. He came so close. If he had stuck that last McNasty, if it had come around just a little straighter, who knows? We might have seen him in that top spot. But that was an incredible ride from Oni.
These finals were so tight. They just back to back. They were getting back to second and third place.
Absolutely. It was crazy.
I feel like Oni definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
He has been training all week. I think he has been here for 2 weeks now and training every day. And yeah, he was definitely looking to do a ride like this one.
And there's that huge, really sells the clean. It locks it in at 5:26, solidly into second position. We've got the top 3 medalists right now. At this point, Nanase has a victory lap, but he is guaranteed a gold. It is currently Nanase and Oni in second place. Absolutely incredible rides. What a show.
What a show, that's for sure. And here goes Nanase for the victory run. He's stoked. He's just going to have fun now. He has no more pressure, but he still wants it. So here he goes. Entry move. It's going to go fast, so keep up. Oh, clean blend. Oh, that was...
Not quite sticking it. But he's still like super stoked. He knows where he is. He knows what he's won.
Yeah, it's really hard to refocus after such a good ride, especially when you know you won already. It's super hard to refocus, but here he goes. He's back in the wave. Goes for the clean blunt McNasty again.
There it is again.
He sticks it.
Once every ride, he's pulled it off.
Back blunt.
Let's see if he can show us something completely new. With 5 seconds remaining. Goes for the McNasty. Sticks it.
I'm pretty sure
still
it's
an
the
incredible
same
ride.
McNasty. Oh, that was still a pretty
He
good
is
ride.
so happy. Usually we see a little paddle slam out of frustration, but that
Oh,
yeah, it
right.
is. He's so happy.
Oh,
Oh no! Oh no! There goes the other half of the paddle. What is he
Oh,
doing?
yes. That's great.
This is the result of too much happiness.
Yep. Okay, so 515 point for his last ride. So we have the final podium. It is Nanas in first place, Oni in second place, Mateo third place.
Ian in fourth, and Mateo of the US in fifth.
That was such a tight finals. It was insane to watch that, and we will see them again at the next World Cup this weekend, and I'm sure they're gonna throw down just as they did
Yeah, so
today.
I believe we have a short break in between here until our senior women's final later. In there, you will see Zosia Tula of Poland, Abby Holcomb of the United States, Emily Jackson of the United States, Hitomi Takaku of Japan, and Ottily Robinson-Shaw of Great Britain. That'll be happening in just under 10 minutes at 4:20. We'll see you then. In the meantime, this was Zach.
That was Tom.
Signing off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you missed two of the greatest classes so far today. We had the women's juniors and the men's juniors, and they gave us a show like no other. It was extraordinary.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane, especially this last one. There were a few moments where we were jumping out of our seats here at the announcing stand. It was insane to watch, especially that last-minute turnaround by the Finnish paddler. It was fantastic.
Yeah, his effort at the end to come from 5th place all the way into 2nd with a 500-point ride, just extraordinary. And then Nanase of Japan on his victory lap, breaking his paddle in half.
Yeah, that was, we were wondering what was going on there, but yeah.
Going full C1 right at the end. So, but next up we have the women's class. So we are now into our last two finals, the senior women's and senior men's. Right now we basically have Zosia Tula of Poland coming up, Abby Holcomb, one of our new juniors from the United States, Emily Jackson, the perennial junior or perennial senior. She's been on the scene for a long time. Hitomi Takaku, world champion in 2019, and Audie Robinson-Shaw, world champion in 2021, 22, at the last world championships.
Exactly. It's going to be an absolutely stacked heat.
Absolutely. So we're going to turn this over here. These guys are going to talk about these women as we run up. We're just about 4 minutes away. So let's take a look at who we have and what we're going to see out of these women. Zosia Tula is no stranger to competition. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Jake Boswell while Zach runs up these athletes.
Yeah, so we've got Zosia Tula. She's no stranger, as we mentioned. She's got tons of experience at events. She's got a silver medal, second event gold medal at the World Cup Championships in Certain 2018, a bronze medal at the World Championships in Certain 2019. Absolutely incredible in her first competition with the U.S. rules, and she broke 1,000 points as the first woman with U.S. rules to accomplish that feat. Absolutely insane, and that's just the first paddler in this heat. Next up, we've got Abby Holcomb, and another incredible paddler with a great track record.
Yeah, as well as that, obviously we've got Emily Jackson. I don't think she needs much of an introduction here. We all know her. Part of the Jackson Kayak family. She works for Jackson Kayaks. She lives and breathes kayaking with her husband Nick and her family. Emily is no stranger to competition. She always has what it takes to pull out all the stops and really throw down on this little epic feature here at Ambush.
Yeah, and then next up, we've got Hitomi Takaku of Japan. She's a legendary paddler here. She has achieved a World Championship winner in 2019, silver medalist at the 22 World Championships in Nottingham. Absolutely phenomenal. She won the Masters Championship in Nottingham this year as well. So we're expecting some incredible rides from her throughout today's final.
And last of all, we've also got Ottily Robinson-Shaw from Great Britain. Ottily's pretty decorated with medals now. She was the women's champion of K1 in Nottingham this summer at the World Championships. She's also got numerous medals in C1 and junior medals as well. She really knows what she's doing on whitewater, and she's going to really show some big moves on this feature, we're sure.
Yeah, so we are less than 2 minutes, about a minute out from starting this second to last final before we move on to the award ceremonies. I don't believe that the award ceremonies for this event will be streamed, unfortunately. I'm not sure about the ones for next World Cups, but the situation here is that we have two banks. We have a camera on the other side, which is what you guys are seeing, and the judges and us on the opposite side of the river. And we basically, the judging is completely being done through video, and same for us. So we see what you guys see, and it is an incredible view. So it's a little difficult when it comes to managing. So unfortunately, you will see some results ahead of time, and then some pictures on the ICF's event Facebook page of the winners and the podiums.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, Zach, this is the first ICF Freestyle Kayaking event where the judges are using live streaming to judge the competition, which is pretty groundbreaking technology, and hopefully that's going to start to open up some more sort of secluded spots in the future.
Yes, I can already name a couple back home that would be amazing like that, including the Big Joe on the Lachine Rapids, right in the middle of the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah, that's epic. Love to see a big comp on Lachine for sure. So the paddlers are getting ready. They're all getting warmed up. We're starting with Zosia Tula, and she is now dropping into the feature. She's going to go for an entry move. She's retained the feature. She's dropping down. She's going to set up for a nice little right roundhouse there. That's a few points she's getting straight on the board. You can see that little red number at the bottom left of your screen and a timer, and that shows how many points she's racking up. That's another big move there. Spinning around on that shoulder, just setting up. A lot of these paddlers will spin around on the shoulder in order to set up for another move, but that also gives them points. She's looking for a back loop there, just flushing off the back. She's got time to get back up in that surfer's right eddy.
Yeah, she's got a couple seconds left to make it up. Not sure if she will be up in time. She might be taking this as her first of 3 runs.
Yeah, so these paddlers get 3 runs. The best run counts. So Zosia might want to drop that one. We know she's well capable of getting medals here, and she's going to want to improve on that score for sure.
Exactly, yeah. We've seen her have some incredible rides throughout the competition. And one of the cool things about the formats used throughout prelims, quarters, semis, and now finals is that there's a mix of how to paddle throughout them. Earlier on in the competition, you rely very heavily on consistency. Yeah, you could have one of the biggest rides of the day, but if you can't be consistently good, you may not even make it past semis if past qualifiers. And now we're into who has the one biggest ride. So once you've made it past, now it's transition to throw big, go and just don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see some really big rides over these next couple of heats here from the women and the men. So Abby Holcomb choosing to compete in the seniors rather than the juniors. She likes a challenge. She's throwing some good moves so far. Looking for a back blunt there. Setting up to go the other way. Lovely. She's staying in the feature. That's the key. If you can stay for all 45 seconds in this feature, you're going to start to really rack up some points. But do remember, you cannot score the same move twice. A lovely loop there. That's an aerial front flip. And looking now for a McNasty. That's a 180 twist into a front loop, but she's just flushed off the back. And that's going to be it for Abby Holcomb's first ride.
Yeah, not a bad first ride as the scores rack up just over 300 points at the moment. That'll be it for her first one, and we'll see what she can do in her next 2.
Yeah, that's right. Abby's really here to compete. She's looking fierce. She's ready to enter the senior women's, and she seems pretty excited about it. And sure enough, she's here straight away into her first final.
Exactly, yeah. And there we're seeing the nice, very smooth blunt to the left there. She's looking calm and collected, using the feature, very relaxed. That's one of the incredible things you see about a lot of these women out here. They're very relaxed on this feature. They don't look stressed. They don't look anxious. They have control. They know the river, sometimes way better than a lot of the guys do.
Absolutely. A lot of the guys, myself included, we come out and start trying to throw moves as fast as we can, and sure enough, the flushes come, the angles don't happen. But these women are calm and collected, and it really shows in their paddling, and you know, it's only going up and up for women's kayaking, for sure.
Yeah, and here next up we have Emily Jackson, the one and only. She is a master of wave tricks and has shown us already basically everything you could see on a small wave like this. We've seen back Pan Ams, we've seen front Pan Ams, and they've all been textbook perfect, so I'm sure she's going to show us a good show here. Starting off right off with a right blunt, almost catching a flush. I don't know if she'll be able to work her way back in there. Not quite, but she's going to have to make her way back up that eddy. She's still got just over 30 seconds here. We'll see what she can do in her last rides, in her last couple seconds. Center herself back up top, looking backwards, possibly for a back blunt to the right. Maybe enough verticality, over verticality for a Pan Am. We will have to see. Going for the Pan Am the other direction, the back Pan Am. Those are both extremely high scoring tricks here, and we're seeing the points rack up. Going for the back blunt the same direction, but an unfortunate flush. I think she's going to just call it for that one. put that aside, go and just forget about it. Go for big on the next upper rides.
Yeah, exactly. We saw a little bit of a pushing away motion from
Yeah.
Emily with her hands there. She knows she has to go bigger and harder if she wants to get on that medal table. For sure, we're only on run 1 now, but we've still got Hitomi from Japan, a very decorated medalist, and also Ottily from Great Britain. So we still have some really stacked up paddlers in this heat.
Yeah, and one of the things we mentioned a lot, like when we'll talk about angles, when we're like, just a bit oververt might have counted as a Pan Am. What we mean by that is there are a few tricks that look fairly similar, such as the roundhouse, the blunt, and the Pan Am. The primary differences are the angle that you manage to attain with the stern or bow of your boat, depending if you're doing it forward or backwards. So anywhere 15 to 45 degrees is counted as the lowest scoring of the 3, which is the roundhouse. 45 degrees to 90 is called a blunt, and you can score air bonuses and stuff on that trick. Meanwhile, the Pan Am is over vertical, and you must have air to score it.
All right, so Hitomi is now dropping in. We can hear the Japanese team making a lot of noise for Hitomi. They're very excited to see her rides, as are we. We know we're going to see some big moves here. So she's dropping into the feature. Straight away, a nice right blunt, maybe a bit of air on that, which a bit of air will give her an air bonus on her moves. Again, with a left blunt. Setting up on the shoulder. Is she going to go backwards? She is. With a nice back aerial blunt. And the other way, of course. This is a really good ride starting from Hitomi. She's still only halfway through, looking for an air screw, maybe a donkey flip there. Still, both big point scoring moves. Looking for another back blunt the other way, maybe looking for the Pan Am. As Zach said, you've really got to get that angle over 90 degrees though. A big front loop, maybe with air. She's still on the feature and looking for a Pan Am to the left as well. Looking at 430 so far. That's going to move up and down a little bit as the judges take a look at it, but that is a big, big ride from Hitomi.
Yeah, that was very, very incredible. So one thing we've been saying a lot, but it's one of the few things I think we haven't described much, is the difference when we say something that looks very similar, the donkey flip and the air screw. So would you mind describing it for the audience?
If my knowledge is correct, the air screw is a barrel roll, basically, on the wave, and it has to rotate, am I right, in over 180 degrees around until the boat catches the water again?
Yes, I believe it is the aerial over 180 degrees to score.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And a donkey flip can, I think it's a little bit less.
Yeah, it's a significant amount less. I don't know the exact amount, but for example, if you see someone go for that barrel roll, or the back deck roll as we call it, in the feature, and they don't really get much air, their body's in the water most of the time, that's most likely going to score as a donkey flip. But those that you see where their whole body's out, they're reaching the water with their paddle, that is an air screw.
That's right. And without air bonuses, on an air screw, I think we're looking at around 110 points, and a donkey flip is still around 90, so that's still big, big points. 90 is the same amount of points as you would get for an aerial front loop. So it's still a very advanced move, and they do have to keep that move within 20 degrees for the bow on the front angle to score it for the judges.
All right, and here we're seeing Ottily come in with a massive, massive entry 3, with definitely add some air bonus on that. Trying to start it off right off with a McNasty, unfortunately catching a flush on that trick. She's still got plenty of time, though, to work her way up. You can see right away the 140 points for that entry move alone. That is massive. We'll see what she's got in her last amount of points here. We know she's capable. She's one of the most decorative paddlers at these events. Extremely talented. There's the McNasty she was looking for earlier. I'm sure we'll try to see her go for another one. Going for the loop, managing to stay in the feature. There's a beautiful back Pan Am. Absolutely incredible. Plugging for the Space Godzilla on the buzzer. That counted. Huge, huge ride, even with the flush for Ottily Robinson-Shaw.
Yeah, there's not many people more motivated for freestyle kayaking than Ottily. I train with Ottily in Nottingham and have done for years, and she is there, rain or shine, snow, sleet, hail. She's out the water with her partner Harry, and they are really pushing the sport hard, and there's nothing really that is going to stop them. That is a really epic ride. We're just seeing one of her McNasty attempts there that pushed her just off the back. Again, like the front loop and like the air screw, they need to score within 20 degrees of a front surf. So that angle's a little bit off there. That's looking okay on there. She's pulled it round right at the end, but ultimately it's down to the judges to decide whether they're going to score these moves. And now we're going to go back to Zosia for her second run.
Yeah, and she's definitely going to be looking to improve on her first ride, get herself into those top positions. A little bit of medal security there. Starting it off with a left roundhouse on that shoulder. Looking for another pass down the feature. It's been a little tricky finding the right moment on this feature as it's so small. Unfortunately, flushing on the first loop attempt of this ride. This is definitely not what she wanted to see on her second ride here. Luckily, she will still have a third, but we'll see what she can pull off in the last 16 seconds. I'm assuming we're probably going to see her go right away into some large scoring moves. There's the McNasty. We'll see how that came around. It looked like it came around pretty straight. She's probably going to look for the, oh, there's the back loop, the other, wow. Very few back loops that we see in this feature. And she's going to start with a split wheel to finish it off on the buzzer. Going for a lunar orbit as well.
Okay, so scores sat there not quite as good as her first ride so far, but I think we saw quite a few more moves from Zosia on her second ride. It's just bumping up now as the judges take a look at it and they confer between themselves. But what was quite good on this ride is we started to see some hole moves, which we haven't seen too much of in the competition apart from the McNasty. So we're looking at the lunar orbit right at the end, which is a backwards McNasty. So still 180 degree rotation into either a back loop or cartwheel. We saw one of those, and we also saw a really nice looking back loop as well. And that's a very, very hard move to get in this feature.
Yeah, it's exceptionally hard. It's like if you can imagine the front loop being difficult due to pushing you back, think of the back loop being even easily twice to 3 times more difficult in the same feature. All right, here we have Abby Holcomb of the United States dropping in for her second ride.
Okay, Abby's back into the feature. She's got 326 points, 0.67 to improve on. She's easily capable of it. She's starting with a nice left roundhouse, popping it back the other way, going nicely backwards. She's spinning on that shoulder into another back blunt there. Points starting to rack up on the bottom left of your screen. A back blunt the other way. She's halfway through her ride. She's got 171 points on the board so far. A nice right roundhouse, maybe a blunt. We'll have to see what the judges think of those angles. Carving about on the shoulder. She's going to look for an air loop, I think, there. Really hard to initiate this bow on a very flat wave. There it is. There's a front loop. That looks good to me. She's spinning around again, looking for the McNasty, just coming off the back. Now that is it for run number 2 for Abby Holcomb from the US. 271 points. We'll see whether that moves up or down from the judges.
Yeah, even if it moves up a little bit, not sure it's going to top her first ride, which just currently sat her in third place with a 326. But that's okay. There's still one more ride for all of these athletes, and she is not even close to the last person in this heat. We still have 3 more, including the paddler who was up next, Emily Jackson.
Okay, so Emily Jackson is paddling a lovely purple Jackson Rockstar V. She looks ready. She's smiling. She's getting pumped. We're going to see what she has for us.
Yeah, I love seeing some of these not so standard colors on some boats. Really adds character to the eddy.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's some special edition colors on some Jackson boats. There's a really lovely yellow and blue few boats out there. But we also have some lovely graphics on the carbon boats as well.
All right, and here she is dropping in. Looking to start it off nice and big with a right blunt, spinning up on that shoulder, going for the right backstab. He's really using the feature nicely, getting up on top, throwing a beautiful back Pan Am, showing exactly how much control she has here. Back Pan Am the other direction. That was stunning. He's setting up for something else, going for the blunt back blunt to the right. Now she's got left and right. We'll see what she's going for next. She's going to go for another blunt to the left. Spinning up, still looking for that last big trick. Maybe looking to plug for a loop here. Oh, she's going to go for the McNasty. She pulls it around, but unfortunately doesn't maintain the feature. So when the judges are looking for the paddler to stop all downstream momentum before falling off the back of the feature to score. And in cases like this, it's all going to depend on exactly what they saw or what they interpreted as 100% momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. So Emily's second ride there is currently sat at around 370. It's gone up to 381, over 400 now. That's going up and up. It might drop down a little bit again, but that is already going to take Emily up into third place, and that will move Abby down into fourth. So Abby's going to know that she's got to really pull out in the last run, and the same for Zosia as well. But we still have two paddlers left of this final. We still have Hitomi and Ottily to go for their second rides.
Yeah, so depending on the position, if Emily manages to pull into third for this, she's going to have to wait till we go back to the top of the heat to see who can, and if they can, top her ride.
Yeah, that's right. And we know for sure Hitomi and Otti are still going to want to improve. All of these ladies are still going to want to improve on their last ride.
And there you see the score still changing, but locking in at a 4:11, putting her squarely into third position.
Okay, so our next paddler is Hitomi from Japan. As we saw from her first ride, there's some really big moves going here. Plenty of air. She's very fast moving around this feature. Bit of a smile from Hitomi there. She's ready. She's happy. Let's see what she's got for us now as she drops into the feature. No entry move from Hitomi because she's going to go straight into that left blunt there on that right shoulder. Ooh, just looking for the back blunt there, not quite catching it. She's going to go for a right blunt though, forwards. Moving around. Oh, she's going to go for the air screw, maybe a donkey flip. That's not up for us guys to decide. Backwards with a bit of air. Really nice moves here so far from Hitomi. She's going to go the other way as well. Just taking a flush off the back of the feature. She's going to paddle hard for that surfer's right eddy, which is a really fast eddy to get back up in. She's just got a bit of time. She might be able to get one more move in just before the buzzer, but I think she's just going to miss it. So she's going to drop that ride. She's going to still stay in first place at the moment with a ride of 450 from her first one. That's second ride coming in at around 280.
Yeah, and we saw her just plug in for that loop just to like a mind game of like, yeah, I can still got this. I still got this. We got one more ride to get herself hold on to that current first place position. But if there's anyone who can top that right now, it is our next paddler, Ottily Robinson-Shaw.
That's right. Ottily's taking a bit more of I would say a British hole boating approach.
I would say so, yeah.
To this feature, with moves like the McNasty, which is a big scoring move without air that comes in at 120, and she's looking to do that both ways. She's looking for aerial Space Godzillas and also front loops, and then there is the odd back Pan Am in there as well.
Yeah, and I think in C1 we saw her throw back Pan Ams both ways, including I think a few front Pan Ams as well, which was really, really cool to see. I think there's very few of the men's C1s that are even bothering to do that nice of a back Pan Am.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very impressive move.
Unfortunately, not quite the air she was looking for. Still scoring an entry, but not the entry 3 she wanted. Going for the McNasty to the right, I believe, on that one. Working up on that shoulder, trying to push herself back up to the top of the wave. Going to plug in, but getting a little pushed off to the side with her nose. Still recovering and managing to stay in the feature. That is not easy to do. Going again, pulling it off this time around. There's the loop she was looking for in the first place. Going for a beautiful back Pan Am. So now maybe for the back Pan Am the other direction, and there it is, managing to stay in the feature. That is huge points. She just passed Hitomi's ride, currently putting her into first place. Looking to get for that Space Godzilla, not quite pulling it around, but she's still in the feature. That was time. Very good ride for Ottily's second run. And now we're going to move up to the start of, honestly, the most exciting and sometimes the most intense and game-changing set of rides of the entire final. The last of 3 runs for each paddler. This is where nothing is set in stone yet. Everybody could end up anywhere. We saw it in the junior men's earlier, where our 5th place paddler shot up into second and almost managed to get up into that first place on his last ride. So everything can be gained and everything can be lost here on the final runs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all or nothing for some of these paddlers, particularly if you're sat down in 4th or 5th place. You know you're going to have to really go for it to make your way onto that medal table. Equally, if you're sat on that medal table, like Zach says, paddlers can go from 5th to 1st. Do not get complacent. You
Definitely
still
not.
are going to have to put everything out there that you can. And we know this is going to get really interesting as Zosia Tula from Poland drops into the feature for her 3rd and final ride of this final at Ambush.
And the thing is, with these 4th and 5th position paddlers, we know they're capable of rides way higher than they've been doing. So anything is possible here.
Absolutely. Zosia starting off with a few nice moves there. A nice little right roundhouse, looking for a back blunt, maybe even looking for the Pan Am there. Plugging for the loop. She knows she needs these big moves. That's looking good to me. She's still in the feature. She's going to go for that back loop as well, like we saw in the last ride. Not quite getting it. Remember, it's got to be straight to impress those judges. Looking for a McNasty. Again, not quite pulling it round. That's a really hard move to do on this feature. She's paddling hard for the eddy. She knows she's got to go for it, but unfortunately for Zosia, that is going to be it for this finals.
So what this does mean, though, is we already know 2 of the medalists. We just don't know what colors they're going to be yet.
Yeah, that's right. We think that Ottily and Hitomi are guaranteed a medal, but our next paddler, Abby Holcomb, is absolutely out there to disrupt things, and we can see if she's going to manage to bump herself up onto the medal table.
All right, and speaking of her here, she comes dropping into the feature for her 3rd and final ride of the finals in this World Cup #1. Going for the left blunt to start things off. Looking to start it off with a left back blunt. Almost flushing, but managing to stay in. She's really got to get those points in, going with the right back blunt. Looking for that left back blunt again. Not sure, maybe she's not sure if she had scored it, so she might be looking for it again. Worst happens, you end up scoring a back roundhouse the second time. Still looking for that loop, not able to get the nose under. There it is, but a little too far under. It pushed her way out the back, and not the momentum that she was looking for. But she claims it. She's happy. She's still in a good mood, which is what's amazing to see with the paddlers out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a result for our first senior women's competition as well. To decide to paddle up into the class above is, you know, not an easy decision to make. But she knew she could compete well in this class, and a 4th place in her first ever event is remarkable. And we know we're going to see some really big rides moving through the rest of the week for Abby as we move down to the 2nd World Cup event, which is down on the Good Wave in the center of Columbus, Georgia.
100%. So now we know who our top 3 paddlers are. We just don't know in which order yet, and Emily is coming in here. She knows what she wants. She wants that 1st place position, and she's coming in with a desire to attain it. She's going to throw big right off the bat. We're going to see some impressive moves, probably both Pan Ams, hopefully.
Absolutely. She's starting off there with a big blunt to the right, very snappy. She wants this. There it is. Nice back Pan Am there. Setting up carefully, rotating perfectly on that right shoulder. Going for a back blunt to the left, sometimes it's a little bit confusing when looking at these from this angle. Looking for another back Pan Am there. Perfect, retaining the feature. Those points starting to rack up down there on the bottom left. A lovely spin on the right shoulder. A blunt to the left. Still on the feature. She's got a couple of seconds left. What have we got, Emily? Looking for a McNasty. Couldn't quite get that edge down. But that looks like 400 points to start with, which isn't quite better than her second ride. But it's already being bumped up by the judges on the bottom left. We may have a bit of a pause until we start to see that final score for Emily Jackson.
Yeah, and here's the tense moment for Hitomi. She's waiting to see how hard she has to push to get up into those positions. Right now, as it stands, 426, getting closer and closer. 433. This is going to be really tight.
Yeah, we can see that number just going up and up. This is the most tense thing about finals. It's really good to watch, and because these paddlers push themselves to their limit, the judges also have to really focus and work out what these scores are to make sure they're judging consistently across the event and giving every paddler an equal shot at these medals. And I don't know about you, Zach, but I wouldn't really want to be the person calling out these decisions.
Definitely not, especially when it comes this tight to 436, legitimately a difference of less than 14 points for that silver medal.
That's right, so we certainly now know that Emily Jackson is going to take the bronze medal home from World Cup 1 here at Ambush. But battling it out for first and second place is Hitomi and Ottily. Hitomi needs to beat Otti's score of, without it being on my screen, I think it was around 505 in order to take that first place. So she's dropping into the feature, she's going to go straight for that left blunt. Nice bit of air on that as well. That beautiful Gigi Prod boat flying around on this wave. It's going to go to the right as well. That's perfect. Spinning back into a front surf and setting up ready to go into that back blunt. Just missing that again and taking a roll. She's got to get back up into that wave. Hitomi is no stranger to paddling hard, and she will absolutely go for it. She will not stop until that buzzer goes. Keep going, Hitomi. Back up. She's going to go really hard in these last 10 seconds, I'm willing to bet, to get some more scores on the board. She's going to go for that donkey flip, and she's going to go for it the other way, just flushing off. So I think we have our gold medal decided for this tournament. So it's looking like Hitomi is going to head home, not head home just yet, but head away from this competition with a silver medal, with her first ride score, of 450 points. Just look at the technique on that left aerial blunt. That's perfect on that shoulder. It's really, really epic paddling again from Hitomi, and we will see more from her later in the week.
And she makes the wave look so smooth out there, sliding and gliding on the green water, and really showing us how to use and how to surf, really. But now we've got Ottily coming in for her victory lap ride, as she's now set in the gold position for this first World Cup. Let's see what she's got for us. Knowing her, she's definitely going to try to best her score anyway, regardless of the position she currently holds. She wants to best her score, always push herself harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, there's that lovely right McNasty there. Shove it McNasty, which is a staple of Otti's tricks. Again, straight into a lovely straight front loop. Points already racking up a big back Pan Am. This is so impressive already. She's going for it. Back Pan Am the other way. That was huge. She's just coming off the back. But her points are already racking right up. Is she going to paddle back for the feature? No, she's going to leave it there. She's had a great competition already here at Ambush. She knows she's taking away the gold medal, and she's going to leave it there with a ride score of around 420 points and a big smile on her face. Well done, Ottily.
Yeah, so it looks like we definitely have our top three. And in order, we're going to have Ottily Robinson-Shaw in first position, Hitomi in second position, Emily Jackson in third, Abby Holcomb in fourth, and Zosia Tula of Poland coming out in fifth position. Congratulations to all the paddlers. we are going to take a very short break, I believe, as we wait for the senior men's finalists to get in the water. I am just looking for when they're planning on starting this.
Yeah, stay tuned for more action from the senior men's final. It's going to be epic.
Alrighty, we just finished up with the women's class, the women's senior class. Quite an exciting finish to that. We're going to roll right into the men's now. We have the men's class coming in. We're going to start right at 5 o'clock local time. Currently it is 4:52, so we got about 8 minutes. We're going to run this up. We're going to talk about these men. Our heat right now. Courtney, tell us who we're going to see.
So right now in this heat, we are going to be kicking off with Gavin Barker from Great Britain. After Gavin Barker, we're going to see Dane Jackson, current world champion from the United States. Following him, we'll have Ricola of Finland, then Thomas Chaplicki of Poland, and Mason Hargrove from the United States.
Yeah, so we got 2 U.S., 1 GB, and Finland and Poland. Really a nice layout of nations. Now the story of this, if you recall, coming out of the semifinals was Visa and Tomas, because they started in the first of the semifinals heats.
That is correct, and they have kept working their way up. They were the underdogs a little bit there, but they started off super strong and really set the pressure on the second heat. The second heat had scored higher in the day prior, but they really wanted to put the pressure on by setting some high scores and making it a little more nerves in the system for the second heat, a little more stress, not so free will going into it.
That's right, and what was really fun to watch was just the amplitude Tomas threw. Now he is second right now in world championship status. He did second in Nottingham. Visa, on the other hand, when he came into this competition and out of quarterfinals, he was 11th. So not even would have qualified into semifinals in that position. So when they took those top 20, he was sitting in the 11th spot, going from 11th now all the way into basically the 3rd place spot. Pretty much an upset. That's an underdog coming from behind.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes a bit of a smart move here. You'll notice some athletes just throw it all straight out on the bat right away, and others choose to save some energy. They know what it takes to make that top 20, top 10, top 5 cut, and they know that it's better to just make the cut, save the energy, remain an underdog, and not put that pressure on themselves to keep trying to prove themselves as the top person the entire way.
Correct. And the harder they push on this feature especially, the higher the flush goes, and this is not a feature that is really good for flushing. Some features you flush, you're off, you're back in, you might lose 3 seconds. This one, I don't think I've seen a flush that has lasted under 7 or 10 seconds.
Oh, that's right. It is a really hard feature once you get that flush. Not only is it a hard paddle back up, but there's a lot of boils in that eddy. It's very unpredictable. You don't always know what you're going to get. Some athletes you'll see plow straight back up. They just get that jet stream up back into the feature, and others finding that boil just popping up right in front of them, really making them stagnant and stopping them in their tracks.
That's right. Now, Gav Barker was in the World Championships. He did not qualify into finals. We're not sure of his place in Nottingham, but Nottingham is his home feature. He is a peak UK paddler, works for the YMCA, very athletically minded. Dane Jackson, of course, is the current reigning world champion. He was just brilliant in these competitions all over the world for many years. We know what to expect out of him. Visa, on the other hand, he's coming up right. He was 13th at last World Championship, so going from 13th into top 5 for this one and having a real good shot at medaling. If this were to have stood from this morning, he'd be a bronze medalist.
That's right, and one thing I definitely noticed about Visa out there watching him is he has a bit of a different style to the rest of the paddlers. Some paddlers are really being quite powerful, quite snappy, but I'm seeing Visa go out there really smooth, and he almost looks like he's not trying too hard, yet he manages to throw down his tricks really vertical, really strong, nailing those angles and keeping them straight, really selling them to the judges.
Absolutely. He was 7th at the European Championships in 2021, so he has just continued to increase his abilities. Coach is Den Newton out of the UK, one of these hashtag super coaches they like to put. He's a really good coach, and after him is going to be Tomasz Czablicki, and Tomasz is very much an elder statesman of this sport.
Oh, that's right. We have seen him on the podium throughout the world over and over again at ICF events. We just saw his partner, Zosia, in the women's finals. They are an all-round incredible couple, always pushing the limits of freestyle, advertising it well around the world. They did do a lot of flat water. They're incredible flat water freestyle paddlers. They don't always have the white water in the winter, yet they always try and find a way to train, a way to keep progressing, and it's really cool to see.
Absolutely. And Tomas here, he's second place in World Championships, first place in the 2018 Sort World Cup, first place in the 2016 San Juan World Cup. He seems to have really good luck at the World Cups. He was third at the World Champions all the way back in 2013 NOC. And that was one of the world champions where Dane was the world champion. And he's been on and shared this podium with Dane a few times. So he wants to come out on top for this one, no doubt about that. However, the story here, the local hero, Mason Hargrove.
That's right, Mason, junior world champion, now stepping it up into the men's category. He just competed in the men's category over in Nottingham. And he's looking to work a bit harder now. He's looking to really step it up. It's his home feature. And there's nothing like a home world. Not only do you have a lot of advantage, you've trained there more, you're used to the area, you're used to this incredibly hot weather we're having, but then you also have the pressure, the extra level of pressure that this is your home feature.
Absolutely, and home feature, family watching, and again, he transitioned from junior to senior, and he actually lost one of his junior years because of the pandemic. He would have been a junior in 2021 when the World Championships were supposed to go on. The pandemic delayed it, went to 2022, and they stuck with the rules, and that's just fine. However, as a result, he became a senior in that year, so that's fine. He competed, he got top 10 in the World Championships this year. It was a disappointing result for him, so he really wants to come out here and retain what he thinks is his rightful place, and right now he has thrown the biggest score of the competition, and he has everything it takes to come down and take this gold medal.
That's right. Earlier on in the rounds we saw him throwing out a 1,500 point ride. Absolutely insane for this feature. We haven't seen anything like it yet. He's the USA Freestyle National Champion from 2019. He is constantly killing it around the world. Like we said, junior men's world champion. He really knows what it takes to do well in competition and to handle that pressure, and we'll just see if he can handle that pressure once again today in front of the home crowd.
And he's been paddling ever since he's a kid, like most of these guys. He was a cadet freestyle winner in CKS Paddle Fest. It's a very popular one here in the United States. So right now we are just getting ready. If I check my clock, we are about 1 minute away, so we're glued to your monitors. I'm looking across the river. I see paddlers over there all milling around. This is a really cool thing about our sport too. All these paddlers are basically grouped together. They can talk with each other if they want. They don't have to. So right now I see Dane and I see Mason, and I don't have my glasses on. So
But I can see Gavin Barker over there in the orange and yellow boat, and then Visa.
And all three of them are talking. They're all chatting. They're all just running up the feature. Dane is one of those competitors. He's really fun to watch before he competes, especially in a feature where he's out of his boat. At World Championships, between rides, he would get out of his boat, come back around, but before he got in, he'd sit there and cheer with the crowd, run up and down, and high-five the people. And other competitors, Mason is more of a solitary. He's going to look and focus and really look inward before he goes. And before you compete, what do you do?
Honestly, that's one of the things I love about Dane most, is he is just one of the funnest people to be around. It's not just about him when he's out there, it's about everyone. And I love how he cheers on his fellow teammates. He cheers on his competitors, and he is always out there. He will spend the whole day in the sun, even when he is about to compete, just making sure he shares the love. And I like to do the same where I can, definitely, but at the same time, you definitely got to make sure, I don't know, I can't handle the sun too much, so find yourself some shade and keep cheering them on throughout the day.
Oh, man, absolutely. And you know what? I'm hearing some really exciting speech. We got these headphones on. We can't hear much of the arena, just you and me, but look at that screen right there. We got the old splashy splash from Gav Barker. He has the green flag. It is the giant thumbs up from the head judge, Danny O'Brien of Ireland. Gav Barker of the UK now coming down to take his first of 3 rides. As we've seen all day long, 3-ride format. 3 rides, best ride counts.
That's right. It is time to put it all out on the line. Take those risks, go for those bigger, flashier moves. Try and get every bonus you can, because every bonus counts out here.
That's right. Okay, Courtney, take us away. What is Gav going to show us on his first ride?
Gav dropping in, looking for the entry move and just getting a bit of a bobble. He decides to pull out of it to stay in the feature instead, playing it safe, and now starting off with a big air screw right there, just off the shoulder. Moving around into the big air screw the other direction. Notice how he gets that boat nice and high in the air. You definitely have to get that boat aerial in order to score the trick. Then a beautiful blunt McNasty combo move off the shoulder, linking the blunt into the McNasty. Pan Am. That was huge, getting over an unfortunate flush.
It looked like he was going for the Pan Am McNasty, the blunt McNasty, but you could throw the Pan Am in there. Flushing, still time to get back up there and throw some more points. We just saw the junior man put 700 points down. He's sitting at 516. Can he bring it up any higher?
We will see. He is plugging in. He's looking for those hole tricks, going for the plug, looking for a space or a front loop. Unfortunately, just getting rejected out there, and that will be time for him. Not the rides we've seen from him earlier in competition, and definitely looks like a little bit of disappointment in the face there, because we all know he can do so much better, but still a solid ride to start off with. It's looking like it's around the 500-point mark.
That's right. So he's going to put this one down. Probably going to be his throwaway if he has anything to say about that, because we know we're going to have to see scores well over 1,000 points, possibly up into the 1,600 range that's going to win this. And 540 is not going to cut it. But Gav Barker has 2 more shots. Next up, however, is the reigning world champion, Dane Jackson. Now, Dane oftentimes comes into competitions, gets first place, and stays in first place, and never gives it up. However, both at the World Championships, where he was battling COVID, and now, he sort of played it in the middle of the pack, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't really mean much. However, he's going to have to or he comes in and does not have that advantage of seeing right at the end what all the competitors do.
That's right, and Dane Jackson already has had a big day out here on the water. He has already claimed the C1 World Cup gold medal so far, so he's already had 1 finals today. He's claimed a gold medal, and now he's in the feature.
All right, Dane going right here for air screw to the right, looking probably air screw to the left. It's a pretty standard ride. His rides have been really similar into that Pan Am. Possible blunt, looked like a Pan Am to me, backing it up into a blunt, back to the right from the back blunt. Now into that Pan Am the other direction. Back Pan Am to the left, really laying down the points, already surpassing Gav. Huge front loop, not clean, but trying to maybe lay down that huge modifier. Either way, he's getting extra points. Into the blunt McNasty to the left, working way to that right side, and he catches a flush. This has been these blunt McNasties.
That's right, these blunt McNasties, a very high-scoring trick, but also extremely flushy move. We have noticed a lot of athletes throughout this entire tournament falling out of the wave on this big trick. But they know it's what they need if they definitely want to claim that final spot.
All right, Dane knowing he can definitely go bigger than that. That flush ate up all the rest of his time. That's 10 whole seconds. I was watching some people like Nick Troutman earlier in the day basically throw 500-600 points in the last 12 seconds of their ride. So every second counts. This is a 45-second ride. feels like an eternity when you're out there, and it also feels like it's nothing.
That's right, it definitely does. It goes so quickly, and these athletes really need to make the most of that time. Like you say, there's a lot you can do if we're watching the way they link from one trick to the next, constantly moving around. 10 seconds can rack up so many points, and that will be the difference between making the podium and not tonight.
Absolutely. So while we wait for this score to settle, Visa Ricola of Finland, he is effectively the dark horse coming in from way in the back of the pack. And when we watch this guy throw moves, I tell you what, there is a certain beauty to his moves. He's a really cool balance of grace and power.
Oh, that's right. He has a very unique style compared to the other athletes we're seeing out here. And he has a very consistent routine we've seen so far. So it'll be interesting to see if he sticks with his routine or if he goes out there looking for something a bit different. He knows that what he scored so far was enough to prove top 3, but this is the finals. There is one extra ride. Scores are likely to end up being higher, and he will need a bit more to try and take out that gold medal position. Dane's score coming in at 860 points.
All right. And this is something Visa's looking at as well. He's like, you know what? Right now, 1,000-point mark puts me in first. So do I push it into the 12 and 13, or do I just match these guys? Get 1,000 points now.
That's
1,200
right.
points next if I need to.
And we'll see, starting off with a huge Pan Am right there, dropping the nose a little, going into the air screw the other direction, now going for a Pan Am up over the shoulder. Notice how he gets that boat over vertical, moving around into the blunt now. He's taking a minute to set up. He knows he doesn't want to flush like some of the other athletes. Big back blunt.
Yeah, Visa hunting around, looking for this. He's still got 20 seconds left, retaining the feature the whole time.
Huge blunt McNasty. Really smooth transition between the two tricks, getting that link bonus and then also getting a huge bonus on the McNasty side of the trick, going for the blunt McNasty the other direction. One of our highest scoring tricks here in the trick. A lot of athletes have been flushing on, but he stays in there, follows it up with a big front loop. He is happy with that.
Absolutely, and that shows you right there, right at the end, he puts down within the last 10 seconds half of his ride. And he's not going to go conservative. He's not looking at those other scores. He's going, I'm going to do my ride, and I'm going to put 1,200 points on the board. That's likely to go up, could go down. The judges are deliberating. They're going to go back. Did he get air? Did he not? Because definitely got some pretty big moves there. His blunt McNasties, though, both retaining, bringing a lot of points to the table.
That's right. We noticed he took it quite slow at the start and he wasn't really racking up too many points. But like you kept saying, the last 10 seconds really matter. And that's where he really pulled it together and led himself ahead of the pack.
Yeah, and that is a little different from this morning. And he dropped onto that feature. We had the semifinals this morning, if you're just joining us. That was 10 of them that went to cut him down to this 5. And, boy, he just started throwing boom, 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 one after the other. Now he's maybe going a little more conservative, but I wonder if this wasn't his warm-up, quote-unquote.
Yeah, he definitely seemed like he came out playing it much safer than we've seen in the previous rounds. However, once he got the safe moves in, he suddenly pulled it together. He's got a bit of confidence under his belt, and he really threw it all out there.
Absolutely. But now, while we wait for the score, we're going to come up with Tomas Czaplicki. And if we can say one thing about Tomas Czaplicki, it is that he reaches for the sky. This guy in the semifinals threw the biggest, hugest clean loop. We really needed a modifier beyond huge. He went so big. A photographer came up to me and said, if you had a paddler timing it, he could have paddled straight under him at one point in time and not touch him.
That's right. It was absolutely insane. Visa's score coming in at 1,230 points, clearly taking out the top spot for now. However, there are a lot of athletes that will have something to say about that, including, up next, Tomas of Poland. He is an aerial paddler. He can really launch that body. He uses all that leverage he has to really slap his tricks around.
Absolutely. See Tomas doing the old splashy splash, a very common thing in that carbon fiber gigi prod, and this is one of the secrets to him going so big. That boat's very stiff, and he can really put a lot of power into it to pop up. He's one of the ones, too, that goes in for this entry McNasty. Not the cleanest entry McNasty. He's going to get points for that, but he probably wanted a lot more. Into a nice big front loop, clean. Not as big as he was going earlier. Into the Space Godzilla. He's going to probably space the other way. He starts out typically with those hole moves. There's that space the other direction. Right into a split wheel. He did this in the preliminaries, but, oh, he catches the flush.
Oh, and an unfortunate flush right there. He was linking his tricks back to back. He was going for those hole moves, higher scoring tricks in this feature. However, they are more likely to flush than the wave moves, and we've seen it time and time again. Moving now into that blunt McNasty, that big high scoring trick. He knows after a flush, all he needs is the biggest scoring tricks. He can't waste time anymore with the little guys. Going for a huge air screw. Looked like he dropped his paddle as he was rotating. He accidentally got a bit of a slip along the shaft, and that was enough to cause the flush.
Yeah, and hopefully he didn't get any injuries. We don't want any injuries here. We've already seen one of the seaboat paddlers get a little bit of an injury. He sort of shook his hand, maybe nursing that hand. We hope he is just fine. He can just paddle this off. Probably smack the hand against the boat. That happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah, that's right, and that's one of the downsides to these carbon boats. When you whack your hand or body on them, you definitely know about it.
Yeah, I always cut my knuckles when I roll.
Yeah.
That's why I choose to swim most of the time.
It's a good safe call.
Strategy. Look
It's
at that.
not worth the injury.
His Space Godzilla's in loop so big. Now we really want to see that big loop. That was not even close to what he can do. He's going to settle his score into 445 points for Tomasz Czablicki of Poland. And next up, we are going to see Mason Hargrove from the United States.
Mason Hargrove up right now, the local hometown hero. He has been a world champion once before as a junior, and he will be looking to take out the World Cup champion title right now.
Oh, he wants it.
He is dropping in for that big old entry wing over, popping around into the back roundhouse right there, making sure he makes points as he goes. Nice big air screw. Notice how that nose stays high and dry out of the water. He goes back to back, left to right, making sure he scores each direction. Moving around now, just missing that pass right there. He'll be upset about that, and then going for the blunt. It's definitely razzled him a little, but he has time, and we all know he can pull it together. Going for the blunt McNasty now. Moving around the other direction into the blunt McNasty, the other direction, up, up, up.
Now they could score that. He definitely came down well ahead of the flush line, but the flush is still going to take him out of this, and he knows it. However, he's going to still 2 more rides to go. And this is something we've seen with Mason. He powers this boat. He brings a lot of raw power to this. And if he can keep his form down, he's unstoppable.
That's right. We are noticing the pressure getting to these athletes right now. So far, other than Visa, we're seeing much lower scores than we were seeing in the prior round. In order to make it into the finals here, they were all scoring well into the thousands. And now, right now, we're seeing closer to the 500s.
That's right. So it's interesting that Visa has managed to maintain this, and especially since I wonder if Visa isn't in this mindset of, well, I've got nothing to lose. Why am I going to worry about it? I wasn't maybe not going to get 5th anyway because I was so low to start out with and just fight back up. And I tell you what, if you can come and calm yourself before an event, it's amazing how well you can do. And I suspect, however, this is Mason's throwaway, and his next ride is going to come out here and just crush it.
That's right. And of all the athletes, Visa probably showed up the latest, only just arriving here a couple days before the event, not getting in there as much training, not getting there as familiar with this feature. So he doesn't have that same pressure of having spent years here like some of these people. However, also a huge disadvantage to not have years worth of experience in this feature.
Exactly. Now we wait for Mason's score. We're going to come back around to Gav Barker right now currently sitting in the 3rd place spot. He is still ahead of Tomasz Czablicki. However, he's not in a medal contention at this moment. We'll put this first ride of Mason's on the board, and they'll come around 2 more rides each. Now Gav, coming out of UK, YMCA instructor, his home feature there in Nottingham. That is a really awesome park where he gets to practice. They've got holes, they've got waves. They don't have a feature quite like this, but they've got one close enough where he probably doesn't have to worry about having to come here to practice, where he can definitely walk basically across town for all practical purposes and paddle.
That's right. I've heard the inlet gates. I haven't made it over there yet, but I've heard that's one of the features where you can learn and throw just about any trick and build up your confidence for these other features. That score for Mason coming in at 581 points, just knocking Gavin off the podium for now.
That's right. So right now, Gavin, 540 points, sitting in 4th place. He is going to come around now and really focus on this ride. He's one of the ones, he talks to himself before the ride. You can see him always verbalizing. We are presuming he's verbalizing good things. We're not going to try to lip read, but he'd be a good candidate for that comedy show of bad lip reading.
That's right. No, Gavin loves the pressure. I'm sure he's stoked to have an excuse to go even higher with this next ride, showing that huge, beautiful entry three, the best entry move you can get. That might have been the biggest air screw I've seen also right there, straight into the air screw the other direction, wasting no time. Blunt McNasty snapping it round. He is proving why he is in finals.
And that's where he flushed this time. Now he's retaining his routine is much more on point. He's already surpassed his score. He is going to lay down a big one here.
Going for the back Pan Am, getting it nice and over vertical, now moving into the back blunt, making sure he scores both those tricks. The difference being the verticality. Pan Am being over vert, blunt being up to 90 degrees.
Oh, the helix attempt right there, and he actually came down on the feature but couldn't bring himself around and got flushed. 5 seconds. He's not going to make it back here. 846 points, though, right now will put him up into possibly third place again. We'll see if this goes all the way above 860. Right now he does threaten Mason in third place as we take a look at this ride here in the replay.
That's right, a bit of a back-to-back battle right now between Mason and Gavin. Gavin in third, Mason takes it over, Gavin looking to take it back. We're seeing in this replay, nice big aerial air screw he showed us. Air screw to the other direction, not quite as big, but still pulling it through and keeping it nice and straight. That's what these athletes want. They need to start it pointing straight upstream and finish it pointing straight upstream. Now showing us that Blunt McNasty trying to slap it straight over the top of their head, landing nice and flat.
Yeah, Gav, he definitely has a lot of strength in this boat. Another one of the Gigi Prod carbon boats. These are incredibly powerful boats if you can put all of your strength into it. That really stiff carbon and those edges it makes it just a wonderful freestyle boat. It's no wonder why a lot of these paddlers use this kayak.
That's right. He looks like an absolute powerhouse in that boat, really forcing it round. Super unfortunate on this helix, just pulling up a little quick there it seemed like and catching the flush with his upper body. If he had stayed in there, we could have seen some good contention for that first and second place spot.
That is the thing about the helix. You have to be completely inverted for that rotation, and being completely inverted in this water, especially if you get anywhere over that surfer's left, is going to grab you straight away. So the more air you got, the better it is, which is what they want. But man, that's a risky move. However, he's still sitting right now where he might take over the third place spot. Next up is going to be Dane Jackson. Dane right now holding down second place. We know Dane can throw big. He threw a 1,600-point ride at World Championships. 846, so he's taking over second place, or third place, excuse me. But 1,600 point on one feature doesn't translate to 1,600 points on any other feature. So Dane's going to have to work really hard to bring this up above the 1,200, 1,300 point range.
That's right, but if anyone can do it, it is Dane Jackson. We have seen it time and time again. He shows up and he can pull almost any trick out of the bag on day one on a feature. He doesn't even need the training time. We're seeing air screw to air screw, huge Pan Am right there, getting that boat over vertical, tail going over his head, moving around now. Pan Am the other way, moving into the back blunt. Those back moves scoring more points than the front moves. Now going for that front loop. He knows those whole tricks are worth it. They are higher scoring than a lot of our wave moves. Now the Blunt McNasty just retaining it too easily, making it look like a breeze out there. Into the Blunt McNasty the other way, up, up, up. And an unfortunate flush right at the end there. If he had stuck that could have actually pushed Visa off that top spot.
That's right. I tell you what, so Dane is now incrementally growing up into that top spot. This is actually something he's really good at, of just bringing his score up one over the other, each ride getting bigger and bigger. Let's take a look at Dane's replay here, break down his rides. You can tell he's not very happy with that, even though it's going to put him, up into the second place spot a little higher.
Yeah, but he's got so many medals, he just likes to collect those golds moving around. We're watching that replay. Notice the nice air screws. Really reaching out his body, keeping it up out of the water. And those beautiful Pan Ams. I really love his style as he snaps it over the top.
Yeah, the back Pan Am is really nice. Dane does just a glorious back Pan Am as he does that right Pan Am to the front, backing it up. And this is where you see the Pan Am. That was really more of a blunt. He didn't get that boat over the top of him where you get that boat over vertical where you're underneath the boat. However, he moves over. You can see he moves over to this pocket for these Blunt McNasties. First he's going to set up with the loop. And you wonder if he's testing the waters a bit, so to speak.
Oh, definitely. We need to figure out these water levels as we go. You're never quite sure. We have had a lot of consistency thanks to Georgia Power. However, every day always feels a little bit different. Sometimes it's just the heat of the day. And you want to make sure you remember exactly where to throw things, where to do your moves. Coming out with 1,063 points.
That's right. So that is going to keep him in second place, growing closer to Visa. And I might want to point out that right now the junior man, if he were in this competition, he would be overtaking Mason Hargrove. That's what kind of competition coming up in the wings we saw earlier today. But Visa coming down here from Finland, he's going to come into, misses his pass there, but I suspect he's going to go right in for an air screw. And he's going to line it up for the air screw the other way. This is a real typical routine of his. He started a little slow. He's going a little faster this time. That was probably a blunt McNasty attempt. Bailed on that. We'll see if he comes back around. Goes for a back Pan Am. Lining it up. Backing it up for a back Pan Am the other way. That was probably more of a blunt. As Visa hunts around now. Should be looking for. There's, again, he's not getting that boat over his head on this ride. This ride might be a little flatter than his previous one. Here's his blunt McNasty. Can he retain? He's been really good at retaining those.
That's right, really throwing it straight over the top into the blunt McNasty the other way. Now he's got it both directions. Now he's looking for his whole tricks. A big aerial front loop right there into the lunar orbit. Oh my God. He threw that absolutely beautifully, textbook, and kept it in the feature. That is a really dangerous move right here.
I have seen the lunar orbit out there fail more times than succeed. Even Dane Jackson's like, yeah, I got one or two in practice. You don't see him throwing it. And he stuck that. And look at his score so far. He's going to, with that lunar orbit on the end, going to really push him up. Can he widen the gap here against the field?
Yeah, that's just amazing. He knows that some of these other athletes he is up against right now are more than capable of getting ahead of that 1,200 mark. We've seen it so far in the competition, and he knows it can happen again. So even though he's sitting in first place right now, he is very aware that he needs to keep upping his score and put even more pressure on these other athletes.
Oh, Visa from Finland. That score is bouncing around just a little bit there, but I tell you what, it's going to be pretty awesome to see him hold down this top spot after his second ride. Like, he is not giving any ground to these seniors in this class, and what a wonderful performance. That lunar orbit at the end, you have to end that in a back surf, and so you are basically pointing downstream, which is a very dangerous thing to do on the end of a move.
Oh, that's right. And a risky one indeed. We're watching the replay of it right now, really launching it up high and snapping it straight over the back.
Absolute air bonus on that. And if they didn't give an air bonus, oh, they missed it. But man, and that other one, that was a lunar orbit, then it obviously flushed. It also sounded like it was right on the buzzer. So it's not necessarily scored on that one, but that first one and 1281 right now, pretty darn awesome.
That's right, he made the most of his time out there. Just flushing on that last trick could have pushed him up even higher. However, an awesome ride right there. He had a couple fumbles. We could have seen some more tricks in there, but so far he is absolutely dominating the rest of the pack.
Oh man, this is really enjoyable. I tell you, the people, we're so shaded, or we're so sunned out up here that even the people on shore looking across, the way the angle sits, the sun comes across it, so we have to watch the monitors way on this river left side. You can't really see this, but where the camera's looking right now, if you were to look straight up the bank, you would see us. And all of the people are huddled under this tent trying to get shade, watching this. 13-15, it's coming up. 13-15, it sets in. Oh, Visa widening the lead. I do think that's within 100 points of the highest score. You know, Visa came here today to win this. He didn't come to say, I can be top 5, I can get a medal. He came to get gold.
Oh, that's right. And he still has one more opportunity to go even higher again. But right now, if anyone's going to have a say, it is Tomasz of Poland. He is no stranger to the podiums in the ICF world. And he has been here for over a month training. He came over early from Poland. And he has been putting in the hours, barely taking a rest day, working extra hard, even going out for those night sessions, making the most of the water we have here. Coming into the feature, starting off with the nice entry 3, keeping it in the feature. Looking to plug the nose down right away for that loop, and unfortunately not quite holding it down steep enough. Beautiful, big, huge, clean front loop. He made up for that first one. Into the big Space Godzilla, looking for that huge bonus on it also.
Yeah, so that front loop doesn't have to have air to score. The spaces do, and he's like, not only am I going to get air, I'm going to put huge on these as well.
And that might have been a space to shove it link right there. Moving around on the shoulder, looking for any bonus points he can get. Ear screw, keeping it nice, high, straight. He knows exactly how to sell these tricks to the judges, and that is what you need to do right now. You don't want them second guessing anything. Moving around, Blunt McNasty up and over the top. Can he keep it in there?
Oh, right on the buzzer, Blunt McNasty. So right now, Tomas's original score, 445, he's going to better that. But this is something that is not going to get him into medal contention yet. That score could go up. I doubt it's going to reach the 846 mark. Still has one more run to go. And Tomas is sitting in a nice spot because by the time he finishes or goes for his next run, he is going to know exactly what it's going to take to get into there. But right now, Mason Hargrove, top scorer in the entire event, is still sitting in 4th place. We'll see him next. So right now, Visa, the story of this, look at the size of that loop on Tomas. This is
absolutely incredible.
There's that Space Godzilla. But Visa is the story right now, and we are just on pins and needles, see what's going to happen as we look now for the last one of this heat, or last one of this round. Still one more run after this. Mr. Mason Hargrove.
That's right, and Mason Hargrove, the hometown hero. He has proved before that he can do better than every score we've seen yet. He has scored higher, but there's the extra pressure of finals. There's a lot more going on right now. It's the end of the day. It's been a long, hot day. And we'll just have to wait and see Thomas's score coming in at 755 points. And right now the crowd is going wild on the shore. Here's a lot of hometown supporters. Right now we have Mason Hargrove entering the feature.
All right, Mason coming over that wing over right at the beginning, cartwheel right to the front. This is pretty standard of him. He is now going to go into that air screw. Nice execution on that, real snappy. Going to go air screw the other direction. He's off to a much better start on this one. I suspect we'll see some blunts, possibly even the Blunt McNasty straight off the bat. That's what he likes to do. Can he retain? He does. Now he's into his routine. Blunt McNasty the other way. Mason is on form right now.
That's right. We are seeing non-stop big tricks, going for a big Pan Am off the shoulder right there. He's taking his time. He's making sure he doesn't want to take any flushes as he goes. Getting the Space Godzilla, going for those whole tricks now. Getting the extra points into the front loop. Now he really forces that boat down, slapping it down. Not quite getting the nose down for that last trick. Going for the Phonics Monkey on the buzzer and just washing out right there.
Right now, I see 1286. I guarantee you, I believe that's going to go up. I can't guarantee it. I don't know what's going on, but that should go up, and sure enough. So right now, Mason's coming down and going, Visa, this is my house. This is my house. Coming in, Mason, 1330. He just threw the routine that he is known for on this feature, and I guarantee you the energy here, it has just expanded up there. The tent just grew. Everyone is packed in. Nobody wants to miss this.
Oh, that is right. I can hear a lot of excitement in the background. We are seeing the instant replay right here, noticing how he pops the boat up, and he really launches. When he goes for that McNasty, he reaches his head up and really throws the boat over top of himself, using that body leverage to get the extra air bonus. We may have a new ranking. Mason going from 5th, only on a 581. We have 3 rides here, only one will count, and he's coming out on the 2nd ride and really pulling it together.
All right, we're going to wait for this score. This is going to take a while for them to settle this score. They want to make sure they get it all right. Every single link bonus that they need, every single huge or air bonus that they need. So we're going to wait around to see what happens. And there it is, 1393. Mason takes over top spot. And that's going to bring us back to Gav Barker, who really needs to put in a performance if he wants a medal.
That's right. It's always upsetters in finals. There is a reason there is 3 rides. Everyone is just going to keep stepping it up. It is incredible to see how the pressure on each athlete manages to push them to work even harder, to throw even more. The vibes, the atmosphere, the energy. Right now we have Gavin Barker. He is looking excited. He knows this is his last opportunity to change up that order and get his name onto that podium. He is coming down and looking excited here. Getting himself hyped up, doing the usual. He has his mantra as he works his way in. And we are about to see it, his final ride, Gavin Barker in the feature. Beautiful entry free right there, right off the bat, into the air screw, wasting no time. He knows he needs to keep moving. Big blunt right there, getting an air bonus. He keeps moving around, setting up. What are we going to see? Beautiful big air screw right there.
Yeah, Gav's on his form. This is his last chance. He's got to bring all these points to bear. That beautiful blunt McNasty around. He is going to bring in probably another one the other direction. There's the blunt. Can't bring the McNasty. Going to back blunt out of it. Back roundhouse there. 15 points or 30 points for that, but every point counts. He's got 10 seconds left.
Going for the back Pan Am there. Now plugging in, going for those front loops, getting those whole tricks, getting some extra hundreds on the board. Going for the helix. The first one we've seen score so far. And then back loop on the buzzer.
Oh, now if they start a move when the buzzer goes, they can score that move, and I believe he was on that back loop just as a buzzer. They should award that to him. 940 points right now. This does not threaten third place. He's got to get a few more, so let's see if the judges were just slow and they want to put that helix down. Now that helix has to be aerial for a certain amount of rotation. There is no Felix on the score sheet. US has it, ICF does not.
That's right, and we have seen it before where there's been an unofficial score come out, judges deliberating time over time, and that score just continues to grow, so nothing is official until it turns green. We have to remember that. Right now he is in 4th place after those first 2 rides with an 8:46. In order to make it on the podium, he needs at least 1,063 points.
973, it's coming up. This is the only ride that counts for him at this point in time. Gav Barker improving his score, but will it be enough to get Great Britain a medal? And right now we're in this last round where we're going to know exactly where it sits. Right now, Mason Hargrove taking the top spot. We still have Dane Jackson and Tomas Chablicki, 2 paddlers that are very capable of knocking Mason and Visa off. What will it be here as we watch this score? And the next up will be Mr. Dane Jackson of the U.S. This guy came into World Championships this year. He is one of 2 paddlers in this that are in plastic boats, both he and Mason. The rest are all in carbon boats. And Dane took World Championships, surprised the field, had very little practice, and came in and just blew him away right at the very end. It was a minor sort of coup for the United States in Great Britain. And let's see, do we have a score? I think they settled in 986. Gav Barker will retain that 4th place spot. Unfortunately not advancing into a medal contention. Tomas can still upset that, sitting in 5th place. But right now, the one who has his say from the United States, Mr. Dane Jackson.
That's right, Dane Jackson. You'll notice the number 1 on his bib. That is because he was number 1 at the most recent World Championships over in Nottingham. As you were saying earlier, Hojo, almost no practice, and he still managed to pull it out in finals and throw down absolutely big. And we are about to see it here. Starting off air screw, moving into air screw the other direction. He knows exactly the number of points he needs. Going for a big Pan Am. Looking for the blunt off the shoulder, keeps it moving, maybe getting a spin in there. Big back Pan Am. Moving around, looking for the back blunt the other way. He was making sure to get both blunts and Pan Ams to really stack those points up. Big aerial front loop, trying to sail the clean blades off the water. Big, maybe even a Pan Am McNasty right there. He looked like he could have been over vertical, but depends on the camera angle. Up, up, up. Can he keep it in there? He is a powerhouse.
Oh, just on the bubble. He flushes. His score right now looks like it's going to improve. I don't think it's going to threaten Visa. It leaves the door wide open for Tomas Chablicki to come in and knock Dane off of the podium. Currently sitting in 3rd place, but man, that ride brought it right at the end, and we'll see. Can Dane hold this down? He is not going to get gold. I can pretty much guarantee that. Dane did not produce the ride he needed, but is it enough for a medal as we watch this replay?
That's right, as we watch the replay coming in, doing those nice air screws, going straight from one direction into the next, a very high scoring trick, so athletes want to make sure they get both of those in there. Then going for that big Pan Am, really getting that boat over vertical, selling it well to the judges. If the judges are unsure, they might just give you a blunt. That's a lot less points there.
So we should describe that it's the angle of the boat as he comes up and over the top. If it's 45 degrees, or better. That's a blunt. If it's 90 degrees and that boat basically standing on end versus whether it's front or back, that is the Pan Am. There's that big, huge front loop. Definitely clean on that. Here is possibly the blunt McNasty. I think he's going to come in. So, nope, this is just that loop again.
Really showing how he got those clean bonuses there. Paddlers need to not use their paddle blades whatsoever in order to get that clean bonus, and it definitely racks up the points.
That was a textbook blunt McNasty there, like you say, possibly the Pan Am. Let's see if he goes here. Pops that boat gets down. That's definitely a blunt. Into this, however, that one put him back on the bubble. The loop wasn't very clean either. He definitely did not get that second one. Forcing it maybe just a little bit. He wants to be a little more in that right pocket as we saw earlier. 10:55 right now. It doesn't look like this is even going to improve his score. We'll see what happens with Dane Jackson. Up next, though, we have Visa Ricola. Now, right now, Visa is sitting in second place. Mason's ahead of him. So what that means is that the only person that can knock Visa off down one spot is actually Tomas Czaplicki. So Mason Hargrove, once we get Dane's score, I believe is guaranteed a medal, because Visa and Tomas can only knock him down into third place.
That is right. And we've seen it, the score coming in for Dane at 1,065 points. Currently in third, however, he is not safe yet. Like you said, Tomas can come in and change that. But right now we are going to have Visa up for his third and final ride here. He is in silver medal position. He wants that gold. He has proved that he is capable of getting it. And this is his final opportunity to do so.
All right, Visa coming down in that white giggy, backing into it, just gonna establish his surf, getting into his air screw right, air screw back to the left. Actually, I think I got that backwards, but he did air screws both ways, hunting around now for
Pan Am.
looks like he didn't like that first air screw and did it again. Now he's into his Pan Ams, backing it up now into the Pan Am, back surfing around. What is he going to give us? He really wants to get a higher score. This does not look like he's really on that normal pace of his really snappy ride.
That's right. Seems more like he's trying to play it a little safe. He knows he's capable of scoring that many points without rushing himself and taking a flush. Going for the blunt McNasty, and
I wonder if a little bit of nerves got to him there. He's like, oh, I'm not safe. I'm not safe. Tomas can knock me off. Now it's down to Tomas Czaplicki. Can Tomas come in? Visa now is guaranteed a medal. Visa is going to get either silver or bronze, depending on what Tomas does.
that's right. And Tomas sitting in fifth place. He has nothing to lose here. He can only work his way up. So he is going to go out there and throw it all down. We all know he's capable of breaking that 1,000, even the 1,300 point mark. He's proved it time and time again. He's been out here. He's been working hard. He's been training probably harder than anyone other than maybe Mason, the hometown boy, who's had a bit more time here.
That's right. So here we go. We're waiting for this score to settle. It's not going to change anything, but it will lock it in. And there we go. So we've locked in. Finland is getting a medal in this round. This is extraordinary because they came in, generally speaking, the underdogs, and Visa brought every ounce into this competition to secure second or third place. Just a wonderful performance by Finland. They should be so very proud. Their junior paddler did the same thing, took silver right on his last ride. But is Tomas going to make it a silver for Finland, or is Tomas going to make it a bronze? What is he going to do?
We'll have to see. He is looking hyped up. He is looking excited. Like I said, he can only go up from here. He is currently in fifth. He knows he needs to throw it all down. This is his last opportunity. This is the final ride of the finals. He is coming in looking confident, staying strong, going for a beautiful, probably the nicest entry move we've seen yet from him, really selling it nice and straight, going for ultimate points into the big aerial front loop, getting it clean, keeping those paddle blades high and dry. Huge Space Godzilla. He's going for every bonus he can get. Huge Space Godzilla the other direction. He doesn't just want the aerial moves. He wants to make sure he gets those huge bonuses. Big air screw on the shoulder, staying in there. Air screw the other direction. He is right on the edge there. Blunt McNasty, up, keeping it in there. Getting a little crooked on the McNasty, but staying in there. Now going for a roundhouse McNasty the other way and just catching the flush.
Oh, Tomas Trablicki, he knows he didn't do it with that ride. He came in really good consistency. I think that getting way over onto that left side sort of rattled him a little bit, and he had to rush back across, not enough time left, and unfortunately getting that flush on that Blunt McNasty, something we've seen the whole time. But like you said, his entry move, he's been able to do consistently and with a lot of points right there on the top.
That's right, and we're seeing it on the playback, that really big, clean aerial front loop right there. He knows how to sell his tricks. He definitely knows what it would have taken, but unfortunately just catching that flush and not quite being able to show off his entire routine.
Absolutely. And do you know what this means?
Yes, I do. This means we are left with only one person. This means that our podium is decided. Mason Hargrove, hometown hero, your World Cup champion. It is confirmed. This is a victory lap.
He cannot change anything except for get a bigger score. He has won this competition. All he has to do now is entertain the crowd into that wing over, huge aerial cartwheel out of that, into an air screw to the left. Just going to lay down move after move as he takes away this gold.
He wants to prove that he can score even higher now into the Blunt McNasty, snapping it over top, moving even faster than he was in his prior ride. Going for the Blunt, didn't like it, moving around now, looking for the Blunt McNasty. He wants to show everyone else just what he's going to bring into the next World Cup. Big Pan Am right there into the back Blunt. He keeps it moving. He's starting to feel the pace now. He's looking for maybe a Lunar there, but not quite getting it. Going for it again. Here we go, the Lunar Orbit. And he is still in there looking for a back loop and, just catching the flush right there, but another huge ride from Mason.
All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is your World Cup #1 finish. We are done with finals. Mason Hargrove taking away the gold. Visa Ricola of Finland coming in and stealing the silver from everyone else with just beautiful rides. Dane Jackson holding down 3rd place. We've got 2 U.S. and 1 Finland. Gav Barker taking 4th of Great Britain, and Tomas Trablicki taking 5th there from Poland. What a wonderful time.
Yeah, that was just fantastic. Really impressive what we saw come out of our group there. The crowd has been going wild over here. We've been hearing a lot of cheering, a lot of excitement. All our nations really proving themselves. It's just been an absolute honor to watch.
Oh, wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the first World Cup of 2022 Columbus World Cup here on Ambush Wave. We are going to do a medal ceremony now. Do not believe we're going to be streaming this, but we're going to award medals for all categories here. It is just going to be wonderful. Stick around, though, because tomorrow we have a sort of a day off for streaming, and then we're going to go right into World Cup #2 down on Good Wave.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. There's a lot more action to come, a very different feature for you all. This has been quite a small, flushy little wave. We're moving on to something much, much larger. There are going to be bigger tricks. There's going to be so much excitement, so I really hope you guys can all join us out there.
Absolutely. So I'm Hojo for...
And I'm Courtney.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We will leave you with this. First place, Mason Hargrove, hometown hero, 1393, bringing it out in his second ride and just holding down first place like a champ.
That's right.